This is Dynamite Dylan Davis, and you're watching my New Scott interview on newscott.com. Yes, bye.
Alright, I'm back here with another New Scott interview, and today in his studio apartment is Dynamite Dylan Davis, Newfoundland's own Dynamite Dylan Davis.
That's right.
How you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Good. We've done a couple of these before, but they've never been like a full-length interview. They've just been for shows and stuff.
It's the real deal.
You've had coming up. And
That's right.
This one is the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
Were you a fan of professional wrestling growing up?
Yeah, ever since I can remember. I want to say maybe 5 or 6. Maybe I watched wrestling with my dad and stuff, and my older cousin Andrew actually got me back into it. I remember the first thing I seen was the debut of Chris Jericho in the WWE. And that was, ever since then I've been just hooked. Like I watched it, and since then,
that was when he debuted in WWE.
Yeah,
that was '99.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 29.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
What was it about pro wrestling that like hooked you in?
So, for me, it was like real life superheroes. You know what I mean? These guys were larger than life. These are huge guys, and they didn't take any shit. If they had an issue, they'd solve it in the ring, and that was pretty cool for me, for a kid. And as a kid, for me, I was a bit overweight, and I have a stutter. So, wrestling for me was a outlet for me to express myself as well. So, moving ahead a little bit, when I had a chance to actually become a wrestler, I dove into it. I was like, yes, why not, right? Because for me, it was all about confidence too. Because as a kid, I had none, and wrestling was what gave me that boost. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Who were your favorite guys to watch?
Stone Cold Steve Austin, #1. He's a man. Also Bret Hart.
Yeah. Chris
Benoit, of course, a Canadian boy, despite what happened, still an awesome wrestler in the ring. Dynamite Kid, of course.
Yeah.
Owen Hart. So there's not one like all-time top favorite would be Stone Cold, but again, I've watched so many that I've used as influence, so it's hard to pinpoint my favorite. But yeah, most of those guys.
What was it about pro wrestling that made you think you could do it? Now, I know when I watched wrestling, when I was a kid, I never looked at the television and was like, I can do that. Yeah. Those guys were gigantic. I was super small and super skinny, right?
Yeah.
So what was it about it that you thought, that made you think you could do it?
So, so these guys are pretty big.
You weren't much bigger back then.
Yeah. So,
different now.
I'm still kind of short, don't ever change. So, it's my main drawback. But for me, I remember when I first started this stuff, I was a ref for the first 3 or 4 years when I was involved. And I remember watching the matches and seeing the guys go through everything. And I remember thinking, I'm never gonna be able to do any of this. This is never. I'm gonna stick with the stripes 1, 2, 3. That's my deal. I'm good. So that was my thing. And then there was one event where someone no-showed. And they needed somebody to fill in for a squash match against Jason Burry. This is, I believe, September 26th, 2006.
You're clearly not trained at this point.
No, I could bump. But so they looking around, who can we use? And I'm sitting there, just sitting down, trying to avoid eye contact. Don't look at me, and they look at me, Dylan. And I go, all right, what's going on? So we got there. I do this squash. I get DDT, choked out, and 1, 2, 3, and there we go. That was it. But I got in a few spots. I got a DDT in, I think, and that was it. So what made me get into it?
What made you think you could do it?
I still don't think I can do it. To be honest. No. So it's what did I think? To be honest, there was always uncertainty up until there was a point. I think probably when I moved here first, and when I started getting these opportunities elsewhere, that I realized, hey, I can do this. I can hang with the best here. You know what I mean? So honestly, I never feel 100% ready, but I always feel challenged, and that's what keeps me going. You know what I mean? That's what makes me work harder, is to compete with these guys who, even though they're 6 foot tall and big guys, I'll still give them my best shot. You know.
Right. How did you discover independent wrestling? You're from St. John's, Newfoundland, correct?
Yeah.
How did you discover independent wrestling in St. John's, Newfoundland?
So my first experience with like local wrestling in Newfoundland was I was 10. I was in grade 5, and a girl in my class, her father was Vince Austin.
Yeah.
He's a wrestler from local area. I'm sure you know who he is. Vince
Gordon.
Austin. You Gordon, yeah.
In the Maritimes, Seaman White.
Hard as nails. Yeah. So she gave me 2 free passes to the show. So me and my dad went that weekend. I was in a high school in the Ghouls, and I remember walking in to a mic spot from Gordon, his gang he had at the time, and then out of nowhere comes Sailor White, you know, bailing through the curtain, and all of a sudden they're playing Dragula by Rob Zombie, and they're brawling around the ring, and that was my first experience with local wrestling.
Was this cutting edge wrestling?
Yeah, it was cutting edge wrestling. And then I'm not sure how, but my dad caught wind of other shows that were local. That was Newfoundland Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
So that was run by the Bennett's, Bruiser and Rick.
What year was this about?
This was, I want to say, I'm going to say like 2000, 2001.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So we could go to all the shows locally. I'd go there every month. I'd go. And then I used to always go. They would do a show out of town. Cutting Edge would do a show here and there out of town. I believe it was Carboneer. I was there, and I'd go just to help at the ring and show up and just be a fan, right? Yeah, pretty much. So they were all in the ring before the show, and this guy I met, Freddie Brophy, who went by Freddie Youngblood. He said, "Hop in the ring." And he said, bump. I go, what? And I bump. I go, I just fall back. I nailed my head, and okay. And he goes, no. And then so he showed me how to bump and whatnot. So that was my first like intro to like learning something right, or learning how to do something first. So, but yeah, that was my intro to it. But.
So you discovered it from a girl in your class? She had already known about it?
That's how I see it.
I'm always interested in like how people discover indie wrestling. Yeah. It's not like a big advertised thing anywhere, right?
And especially there in Newfoundland too.
Such a smaller.
You wouldn't think, because no one knows where we are, right?
Right.
But so that was when I first seen it as a fan, and then how I got involved in it too. But as a wrestler, I didn't know you could train. I didn't know you could train there. So when I say train there, like, there's no schools in Newfoundland. You know, it's pretty much what it is. It's passed on knowledge from Sailor White.
Yeah.
It's been passed on to guys, and that's how it's worked for years there. So
tell people who Sailor White is, in case they don't know.
Sailor White is the only Newfoundlander to ever make it to the WWF. He was a WWF Tag Team Champion as the Moondogs.
Yeah.
So you know, he was the legend around town. He was what people looked up to, you know. So how I got involved in the training aspect was my mom. She owned her own restaurant at the time, and one of the guys who worked for Cutting Edge, DJ Malone, he went by Thanatos. He told my mom that you know, he can train here and whatnot, and so as soon as mom told me that was it. I'd go to the Play It Again sports store and try and find knee pads and elbow pads, and I said, "Mom, I need knee pad, elbow pads." So one day she came home and she had a bag full of these pads she bought. So she had these hockey shin pads and all this stuff, and I was like, shit, you know. I was like, you know, so I was a kid and I was frustrated. And anyways, that was my first intro into wrestling. A very bizarre way in rural Newfoundland where nothing happens at all, but yeah, that was it. And after that, I just started, you know, learning how to bump some more. I spent one whole summer. We used to have this old ring set up in Fred's yard. It was this old boxing ring that was like a cement floor. Every day I would go down there the whole summer, and we would like learn how to bump and just run certain spots and whatnot. After that, that's when I started having matches, I guess you could say, like, locally. This was around 2006. I wrestled for, it was Provincial Wrestling Alliance. That was my first debut as a wrestler for ref.
We were in that one.
That was run by like a few like of the younger guys back home.
Okay.
You know, it was just like a group,
Yeah.
right? So that was my first intro as going from ref to wrestler. I remember my first match. I went out there and had a good match, and I broke a toe on a gory bomb. So that was my first match, you know.
Yeah.
I get backstage, and my dad goes, "That could be your neck next time." So that was the sort of the you know, this is it now. No more wrestling. You're gonna be a ref.
Yeah.
So for a while, I'd ref and I'd wrestle on the side. He wouldn't know. So I'd go home from shows, home late. I'd have like chop marks on my chest, and what happened there? Oh, just messing around, Dad. I'd be sore walking around and whatever. I wrestled for almost a year, and my dad didn't even know about it.
Right.
He thought I was ref. So
Like Max Power's story, somewhat similar.
Same kind of deal, yeah.
Mom didn't know. Or
yeah,
something. Yeah.
right. So after that, we did that for a while, and then the promoter eventually, who I think it was Mike Barrington, took over, and he started Republic Pro Wrestling
Yeah.
with the help of Steve Clark,
Yeah.
Lance Romance.
Lance Romance. Yeah.
So
You still have his T-shirt.
you do
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
So okay, I'm trying to like keep everything in a timeline without like
Yeah.
rambling on. I'm trying to like keep
Oh,
everything, you know. So so they start Republic Pro Wrestling. This is 2008.
Yeah.
Steve Clark took over the book. Took over like he said we need more gimmicks. You can't book just Chris Dillon. You gotta need something. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'll be whoever.
What did you wrestle as originally?
Chris Dillon.
Chris Dillon. Okay.
Yeah. Just,
Like, you were gonna get put with like a John Cena rapper gimmick at one point.
so this is where I'm going next. This one.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
so then he goes, I can't book Chris Dillon. You need a gimmick. I go, okay. I don't know. Like, whatever. Think of something. So he said, all right, Dylan Davis. I was like, okay, cool. Dylan Davis, awesome, cool.
Just randomly.
For now, yeah.
Yeah.
And then like, awesome, cool. And then this is then the next day he announced the card on Facebook. I'm going through it. Hip hop Dylan Davis, and I said, no. So I said, what? I said, hip hop Dylan Davis. He said, yeah. I said, okay. He's like, okay, you gotta buy a do-rag, you gotta get a tank top, you gotta do the yeah boy and all this stuff, and this is what we did. So I went out, I bought a do-rag, I went out, I got, the football gloves, and I got the hoodie and the do-rag for the face and all this stuff, and I was hip hop Dylan Davis for a while. So yeah, that's what I did for a while. I did that for I think close to like 2 years.
Okay.
But so for a year straight I did it, and then after, so it was like from 2008 to 2009 I did a hip hop gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
But then the company closed down.
Yeah.
Money problems just didn't work out. So for the whole year I didn't do any wrestling at all from 08 to 09. The only wrestling I did was I saved up my money and I flew to Edmonton to stay with my buddy Andrew Hawks and train at the PWA hangar with Tex Gaines. I was there for 2 weeks, and we'd go there for hours a day and just drills, like everything, chain, everything, right? So I came back from that.
How long were you out there?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yeah. And side story, because I didn't wrestle from that year locally because this is funny. So when you're young, you do stupid shit, right? You rip people, and it's funny. So Steve Clark left Republic Pro Wrestling. I'm not sure what happened, but he left. And all of a sudden, because I was young, we're all dumb, we think he's the bad guy and all that stuff. So one night we decided to go get some eggs. and drive past Egg's house. Right, so we Egg's house. Okay, so we do that. He's pissed off, of course, whatever. Okay, but someone else took it upon themselves, and it wasn't me, to then pour gravy and salsa, which they got from the job at Mary Brown's, and poured in Steve Clark's mailbox. So Steve is furious. He's just like pissed, furious. He hates us all. We're all like, this is it. So for a year, I avoided him, right?
Yeah. So
go back to Edmonton. I'm there. I wrestle. I train. We also did a show there too in New Sarepta, Alberta. We did this carnival show. We show up, like, I think it was 10 minutes prior to the show starting. Squiggy, I'm sure many of you know who Squiggy is. This guy's Squiggy. He runs Real Canadian Wrestling in Alberta. So he had this like carnival show. We show up. It was me, Fred, Gord, and Gord. I believe Hawks was wrestling a show that night for PUA, if I'm not mistaken. But we show up and Squiggy's freaking out. Oh my God, guys, you're finally here. Get ready, quick, get ready here. Blah, blah, blah. Turns out our Carlo was wrestling most of the card for him. Like, right. He had me booked in, I think, 3 matches out of 6, I think it was.
That's awesome.
So there's that. So then after that trip, I come home to Newfoundland, and this is around the time they're starting up Legend City Wrestling, right?
What EWE was around at some point in time. Like,
yes, that was.
There, did you work for them?
I was a ref.
You were a ref for them?
That was that was before. So that was the ring we actually used to train in the backyard.
Okay, those are just bar shows though, right?
For the most part, they tried to run shows afterwards. I was sorry, at like halls and all that stuff, but it never really made enough money. Just at the end, just sort of like most they're phased out. But then. So after that, I came back from Edmonton, and they were starting up LCW. I'd always see Dan and Steve at the gym with my dad. Like, I'll be there with him, and we'd see him, and I never like, look at him. We'd always avoid each other. And then finally, one night, I went up to him and gave him a handshake, and how you doing, and whatever. It was okay. So then, I believe it was Mike Barrington who messaged me and said Steve Clark wants you to message him or give him a call. Okay, cool. So I messaged him. He offered me a spot on their tour that September. It was 2010. Yeah. Sure, no problem. He was bringing in Robbie McAllister as well. And Mike was there too. So sure, why not? So we chat for a couple months, and then finally the night before they start this tour with Robbie, I get off work and I go to meet everyone for the first time since the egging and the salsa and the gravy, and I go, and it's on my own. I have to go and go to Dan Bjorthal's house to meet the crew. So here I am. I go and I bang on the door. Knock, knock, knock. Who opens the door but Mike Hughes and Robbie.
Yeah.
How you doing? I go, I'm Dylan. So I'll go in there. Whatever, we go in there, and it was it. And then I count that as my intro to professional wrestling.
Right.
So it's, and like, and
that was like 2010, was it?
Yeah. Okay. So like, I wrestled locally, but I found that was like my just like practice. It was priming up for pro wrestling. When I started wrestling for like Dan and Steve, working with Mike and all those guys, that was a real test.
Yeah, because they had a good roster with LCW for sure. With all the guys they brought in, they brought in Piper, they brought in Cabana, they brought in Cowboy.
So many. Yeah. Like Dukes, Atlas, you name it, right?
Yeah.
And the crew they had then, I believe, I might forget some, but I know it was Robbie, Mike was there, Troy was there, Saint, Cook. Yeah.
Titus probably at some point.
Titus was there, I believe. Yeah. JP Simmons was there.
Yeah.
Plus, we had our crew as well, right?
Yeah.
So that was that. So all that big ramble was how I got into professional wrestling.
Writing down questions.
Oh yeah.
Not ignoring them.
It's all good. So yeah, that was how I got. So I was trying to like stay on track, because I was like, okay, I don't want to veer off too much, but there's certain avenues I just visit as well and let you know how I got here. So yeah, Newfoundland wrestling to me is its own thing. Okay, so and I'm gonna offend some. Oh my God, we're pros. It's very different. Okay, it's local, and not to knock anyone because those guys do work hard over there. They all do. You know what I mean? But you can only reach a certain point by staying on the island. You know what I mean?
It's the same thing here. Really.
Exactly.
Nobody knows Newfoundland exists. Nobody knows we exist either.
Exactly. You had to get out there, right?
There's nothing past Quebec to most people.
Exactly. Yeah. And like I said, me starting to work with Mike Hughes back then, helped me huge to get out of certain bad habits, to learn etiquette, and to learn just how to be tough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I always tell the guys, you guys I wish you guys could have came along sooner, but again, it was the mentality of home is that the Maritimes is bad. Some guys think that it's unfortunate because the Maritimes has been nothing but good to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everyone here has treated me with respect, and for the most part, but is what it is, right?
Right. Now, were you around in like 2002, 2003 around the Newfoundland scene?
Yes, but I wasn't.
Were you just a fan then, or were you like?
I was just a fan then, for sure.
Were you like back? Did you know who like Too Damn Hype and Lance Romance was? Were you?
No, I just knew them as Too Damn Hype and Lance Romance. Yeah.
When they came up here for the first time in 2002, and then again in 2003, did they make a big deal about that in Newfoundland, or did anybody know that they were coming, or do you have any memories of that?
So, if I can remember,
it came up for mainstream wrestling.
Yeah, I remember that, and from what I remember as a fan, like I remember thinking that was cool.
Yeah.
Like from seeing, because they used to have this website, I think, or whatnot, and I remember thinking because they put up a photo, they were on tours and stuff too.
Yeah.
As a fan, I thought that was cool. So, I think that was like praise because, like, again. It wasn't very common for guys from Newfoundland to do tours or to leave Newfoundland.
Right. Now, Newfoundland gets a bad rap for a lot, like for cutting edge wrestling back in the day. A lot of people from around here and the rest of the country, to be honest, called them quote unquote like backyarders because they weren't properly trained, or that's what people said. Is that bad rap deserved, or is it a little overblown, or? Because if Sailor White was a WWF tag team champion, he clearly knew what he was. He had some knowledge, and some clearly, right?
Yeah.
And if he was the one passing the knowledge along to them, where did that bad rap come from?
So I think what it is like, it's like passing down knowledge, down. After a while, some stuff will be forgotten, some stuff will be left out. So I believe like the issue is like a lot of guys back there create a lot of bad habits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's no one there to say, hey, that's not right.
Yeah.
Try it this way.
Yeah.
So, going back to, some say they're not trained.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is very like some say it's touchy, offensive, whatever. So like trained, honestly, I never went to a school.
Yeah. There's a lot of people here that are successful never went to actually. Like Lincoln Steen, for example, never went to a wrestling school. He learned on the job.
Exactly, right? So like for me, like, and for me to say to the shoot right now, it's a weight off my shoulder. No, but you know what I mean? Like, so no, I did not go to a school, but what I did do.
You should go to a school.
Go to a school, kid. Go to a school. It's very important. Call Tyson Dukes. He's a good dude. Yeah. But anyway, so
Wrestle Factory.
Go there. It's awesome. So like, I wasn't trained, but what I did do is every seminar I go to, or every ear every brain I could pick. I'll pick ears to you want. But anyways, I was there. So I like to think I learned on the job, but I got extra schooling whenever I could. I'd pay the whatever price for a seminar and whatnot. And I did some amazing ones. I did some stuff with Tyson Dukes, Billy Gunn seminar. We did a drive myself, Kirk O'Bey, Justin, and Marcus Burke did the drive to New Jersey.
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
Did the Ring of Honor I guess training
Pre-dojo.
camp at the wrestling factory. Monster Factory.
Yeah.
So like, some guys home don't take that initiative,
Right.
and it's just the fact that if they did, they can just go to a whole new like level. But the thing is, when you tell some guys that, they don't think of it as advice. They think of it as
You're
getting shit on.
attacking
It's
them,
like just no. Like, you need to understand. Like, people don't always tell you bad things to shit on you. It's just for your own to help you out
Right,
and grow.
yeah.
And there's things you hear that you don't want to hear, and it sounds harsh.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah.
So to say they are trained, they train. They do train. From what I hear recently, they have back home now. They have this group. They go and they train every week. So, but there's no formal wrestling training.
Right.
Other than at shows, they always do a seminar or whatnot. But other than that, it's what they do. So, like I said, I didn't go to a school. I just learned as I went. I got tossed into the fire, with guys like Mike Hughes and Apollo, and work with guys from down in Chile, Hellspawn, and guys who barely spoke English.
Yeah.
But somehow we managed to make it work.
Right.
So
Wrestling's the international.
exactly. Right. Yeah.
Headlock, okay.
Gotcha.
But like I said, Steen was the same thing. He never, he bumped Scott Savage got trained at Dory Funk Jr.'s school down in Florida, I think it was.
Really?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Oh.
Scott was trained by Dory Funk, and Devin had opened up his own mainstream wrestling school. We're talking 2000, 2001 here, right?
Yeah.
Scott realized, I'm going to go get actually trained. So he left. He went down to wherever Dory Funk School was, got trained, came back, and Steen was starting to learn things from Scott, and then went on tour with guys like Chi Cruz and Eddie Watts, and when he went out west, and Vance Nevada and all those guys. And that's how he learned. The same thing, they just threw him into the fire, right? Because he had some amateur wrestling background, so he knew a little bit, but that's still not the ideal way to do it. But the Hardy Boys were never trained either, right?
Yeah.
But there's very few and far between, but some people like yourself can adapt from that and overcome not being trained.
Yeah.
But it's still not ideal. But
No, trust me.
Most people can't.
Yeah.
But you're one of the few that did, clearly. In 2003, did you know who Gord Glenn was, Vince Austin in Newfoundland? What was his deal in the Newfoundland scene?
So
he came up here in 2003.
Yeah, so back then, Gord was, I guess he was the main guy. He was the Newfoundland wrestling guy. That was how he was, portrayed at shows. He was hard as nails, Vince Austin. He was the guy that traveled again.
He was out west too, right?
Yeah.
Did he go out already at that point?
I think so.
Yeah,
Because
I think so too.
Because I know he was gone from the shows for a while because of that. So he was the guy that traveled. So in our eyes, he was goals. Hey, be like him.
Would he have been trained by Sailor White?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So back then he was the guy. He was the head guy. But I think and I'm not sure this is correct or not, but I think Gord at that time had a few demons that he was, dealing with.
Yeah.
So, and I think from 2003 onward, it's a little fuzzy because he wasn't around as much, I don't think. But again,
Right.
to be wrong, we'll just,
Yeah. No.
He might even say it too, but it is what it is.
No, I think he mentioned it when he was here, but when he was coming up here, he hated, I ran a website back in the day, newscott.com. It was maritime wrestling, and everybody did interviews, and everybody always shit on him and cutting edge wrestling, right?
Yeah.
I just asked the questions. They're the ones that answered it, but he hated me. He hated Tony Armstrong and our little Lincoln Steen and our little group of people, right? So when Devin was bringing him up, we were like, this is going to be interesting. So he came up and he used to cut promos on all of us. He had wrestled for Stampede Wrestling or somewhere out west at this point in time. But then they had him and X-Ray Cal Cruz, Devin Shiddick, had a match at what was the Copper Penny. It's something else, a lower deck or something now, where they actually got into it. They started fighting for real in this match. Did that like make it back down to Newfoundland? Did you hear about that? The video's on YouTube if you want to watch it.
The first time I heard about that video was you told me about the video. Because I didn't know it existed.
So you hadn't heard of it?
No, it was, I heard, like maybe Devin might have told me a story about it. I did one show with Devin, I think it was, MSW. He might have mentioned it once or might have embellished a story, but no,
it was not embellished. Oh, I don't know his version, but it's pretty crazy.
No, so yeah, it's like you told me, and I watched it, and so yeah, okay. So Devin gets in the ring, clearly drunk. So from what I remember, Devin's in the ring making all these like newfie jokes, like God, I don't know, I can't remember what he was saying, but it was kind of funny too. And then Gord comes out, and Gord, he's yelling, he's cutting a promo on the way to the ring, and he's whatever, tries to get on the mic and cut a promo back, I think. And then they're brawling on the outside, and they're brawling, and at one point, Gord takes out a toolbox.
Yeah, he takes a toolbox out from underneath the ring, full of tools. The thing easily weighed over 100 pounds. Easily. And Devin was a tiny guy back then. He's not huge now, but the toolbox and him were probably the same weight.
So Gord takes it, and I'm pretty sure he over his head.
Oh yeah.
And he came down on his back. Pow!
Yeah.
And the tools fly everywhere. And then I'm pretty sure this is how it happened. I hear Devin go, "Fuck this," and he's "Fuck you," and he's walking back to the curtain, and he leaves. And I think it was you were filming it.
Oh yeah.
And you're following back, and then Gord's just out there.
Yeah.
What a coward!
Yeah. So he came back. I think there was another spot where Gord had Devin on top of one of the actual restaurant tables and tried to pile drive him through it. That's when Devin was like, "Fuck this," pushed them off, and then went to the back. Yeah,
I knew there was something with table.
So.
Yeah. Okay, I knew there was that table involved somewhere. It was like, "Fuck this," and he left.
Okay. That burned the venue. That was the last show there.
I wonder why.
Yeah. But so that story never made it back to Newfoundland at that point in time, like that you heard of?
It might have amongst the like wrestling group then.
Yeah.
But then I was just a fan, right?
I didn't have YouTube didn't exist then, or that would have been up instantly. YouTube didn't become a thing for like 3 more years.
It was so funny. Oh man, there's so many classic moments that we seen like years later on YouTube from Gord up here.
Yeah.
Like his match with Tony Armstrong when Tony slaps the taste out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, straight, yeah.
Yeah, they ended up actually they actually ended up getting along like fairly well for all like the shit Gord was talking before he came. I mean, like Tony was a big dude and also an amateur wrestler, and I think Gord realized, well, this guy can kill me if he chooses to, right? And me and him, we got along fairly well throughout that. Like, he had one of my t-shirts, used to wear it when he wrestles. But yeah, it was definitely an interesting summer. Devin ran a lot of bars. He ran one bar that had like a TV screen in one corner of the ring and a ceiling fan in the other. And the boys used to like watch TV and pull on the ceiling fan during the matches and stuff.
Oh,
like, it was just crazy. And Gord was there. But he had a lot of like pride in I guess it was the Cutting Edge Wrestling Champion, that huge gold belt.
He still does.
He dropped it to Tony, and then Tony like made fun of it, and he got really really upset about that. Why was he have so much?
Gord's got a passion, dude. Like people would say Gord's crazy, fucking nuts. No, Gord, we're all a little nuts.
That belt? Do you remember?
The North Atlantic, was it?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so he had North Atlantic and the Heritage one.
Yeah.
Now North Atlantic. So it all goes back to the brand Cutting Edge Wrestling.
Yeah.
With the bloody letters. That's his. And now to this day even.
Yeah.
That's his, right? I believe there's a little bit of a animosity between him and the guys back home now, between that and the ring and what happened.
He's out west now?
Yeah, he's wrestling, and I believe he's wrestling a lot with, he's doing a gimmick now with Andrew Hoxter, the Vikings.
Okay.
They're working a lot, and he's
nice.
he's looking jacked, but...
I haven't seen him in probably 15 years.
Oh, no, you see him now, he's jacked, he's shredded. But going back to that, like, going back to... the belt, yeah. It goes back to it goes back to the like letters, his pride, and that's his brand, his company that he built, right?
That makes sense, yeah.
So I think it just, you know, we all have something we hang on to, like in wrestling, whether it be like wrestling or, you know.
Yeah.
So Gord, I think he has that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He's proud of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm sure he worked hard for it too, right? Like he definitely has a right to be. Why do you think more people from Newfoundland like didn't come up here back then? Don't come up here now? Why do you think that is? Well, why don't they leave the island?
You know, and from experience, I think, you know,
nobody leaves Nova Scotia either. Very few. Like,
you know, some do. So you know, for me, it was like it's comfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's comfortable. So in the sense that you have your local shows once a month with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
There's no stress, right? You sell a bit of shirts, a bit of merch, your shirts. You can get a bit of little small, you know, bit of money for your match, and there you go. It's easy.
Yeah.
There's no you go back home. You're safe, right? For me, I wanted to move for years. For years, I was told, everyone said you gotta move out of here, or no one's gonna see you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no one's gonna see you.
Yeah.
For years, I didn't move, and then finally I moved here like 2016, I think it was, of August. And, you know, the comfort was gone, because you come up here and you start off fresh. You have like one suitcase and that's it. And you gotta start from, you know, move from Newfoundland, where I was the heavyweight champion, right, to VIP, you know, hardcore battle royals, where Chuck comes in, hits me in the face with a fish, foreshadowing, you know. Yes. But so it's comfort, I think. Also, it's not always easy to move from home and start fresh.
Yeah.
You know, it's a gamble, and you know, I think some guys, like, you know, it could be a thing with their jobs, or family, or they don't have the money to do it right now, or they're just afraid. But I honestly have no idea why, you know, guys don't decide to move and pursue not only wrestling but a better life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I was wrestling home from 2008 roughly to 2016, so 8 years.
Yeah.
And you know, I did tours. I met some Hall of Famers, and it was cool. Had some awesome matches.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, there was nothing fulfilled. You know what I mean? It was just whatever. When I moved here, it was way different, because now I had to earn.
You're starting over.
Yeah, I had to earn a spot.
Yeah.
Right. And at first it was hard, because there were so many guys here.
Yeah.
There were so many guys here. Like, it was, and Burke was the first guy that gave me the open door for a spot. Because I met him in Newfoundland during a tour with New Evolution Wrestling.
Mm-hmm. You worked for UCW before you worked with Wrestle Center?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I
wasn't sure of the timeline there.
Yeah, my first match was Fatal 4-Way against the American Patriots, Matt Connors, myself, and Dylan Sharp.
Okay.
Right. I remember Burke. He was at the time, he was overseas then.
Yeah.
He just said, "Yeah, show up and you're whatever." So at first it was hard, man. Like, you know, you show up. I was getting paid a fourth of what I was making back home in Newfoundland, and I understood that. I wasn't here demanding any huge money, because I knew how it works. I mean, this is my contract. I want a fruit basket and I want 6 figures. No, that's not how it is. Yeah, you gotta. With all these guys, I knew I had to show what I can do. I had to earn a spot. I had to, you know, show them I'm not just some kid from Newfoundland. I'm here to, you know, be one of your best guys.
Yeah.
You know, am I there yet? No. I still have, you know, I still a lot of work to do. But compared to who I was when I moved here, you know, all the help from a lot of guys here, like Burke and Covey, even, he's helped me out a huge amount.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I worked with him pretty much all last year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I filmed a bunch of
so
it's really good.
For me to move here, I was lucky enough to be brought into a group that understood the work I already did,
Mm-hmm.
and the work that I was willing to do, and the work that I can do. And I've been, like, ever since I moved here, I've been motivated by the whole crew here as one to be better and better. Right, so.
I believe your first time here was 3 years after you started wrestling. 2011, you came out and wrestled for Red Rock Wrestling and New Breed Wrestling.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
So I know at the time, Dan Bjorkdahl, Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, he came up too.
It was his thing first. It was his like idea, and I said, "I'll go up too. I'll go with you." I asked Mike, and Mike said, "There's no spots on the card, but come up and like a ref or whatever."
Okay.
Sure, whatever. I'll come up. I'll bring my gear. So this was the time. This is when I was starting. So I was going. This is actually good timing. So this is going from hip hop to British.
Yeah.
So in Newfoundland. One of these shows, I have a head shade and all that stuff. I wear tights with the long, like high socks. I think it was Mike said he looks like the Dynamite kid.
Mm-hmm.
Just think Dan, yeah, he
Did
does.
he name you too?
Dynamite. That's how it came from.
Oh, okay.
Dynamite.
Right.
So Dynamite kid. Yeah. So then
he named Marcus Burke too.
Did he?
Yeah. Mike?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No way.
He didn't want Mr. Swab Joshua Arrow on his shows because it was a PG show, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, we need a name for you, and Marcus Burke.
No way.
That's right. Yeah. It was
Crazy.
a show in 2012.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do the British thing, and this is so I ordered the red tights, and I had Saint make me a pair of the Union Jack trunks and the matching knee pad covers.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a full-on bulldog suit, right? So I brought that too with me and whatnot. And then, lo and behold, I show up and Mike goes, "Yeah, you got a match." They had Steen.
Yeah.
And this is pretty cool because I remember watching Wrestling Reality and stuff and seeing Steen,
Is that air in Newfoundland?
I seen it on online.
Online,
I
okay.
think, right? So I remember seeing Steen and so for me in Newfoundland, the only way I see any anything outside of the island was through online or whatever it was. So I'd see this show and Mike and Gary and Pete and Steen, and this is just fucking cool. So here I am years later, and I'm wrestling Steen. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
So nervous as fuck. Just so fucking nervous.
Yeah.
Before the match, I had to cut a promo. The first time doing a British accent. I haven't seen it yet. I don't want to see it ever. But
I must have it. I filmed that show.
do you film it?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
But that match for sure is on there. I don't know. I must have the promo somewhere if it's not up.
You have it.
Yeah.
And it's this shoot, so you can see it. Or put it in right now.
Yeah.
Right here on bottom. No, it's not. So yeah, that was British. Came out. I came out, and I think at the time Steen was doing a program with some guys on the radio.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But the guy got hurt, and he couldn't end up wrestling. The radio guy.
That's why I had to face Steen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going through them. We're going to the ring. Managers just okay, cool. And then we had the match, and Steen used the gimmick, and he won. Dick.
Yeah. And the next night you worked New Breed Wrestling.
Yeah,
I worked Riddick Stone.
yeah. I worked Riddick Stone. Funny story about that. So, Josh is a big guy. And I'm a small guy, as you can tell.
Bit.
Yeah. So we're doing the match, and that's fine. Josh did a spine buster, and the finish F5, pow, pow, and then it was whatever. It was cool. We go back, and Steve goes to Josh. He goes, Josh, so calm and nice. He goes, Josh, next time maybe throw him easier, to take it easy on the F5. He'll calm, not even. And Josh goes, "Why don't you go fuck yourself?" And that was to this day, that's my fondest memory of Josh.
That's awesome. Now, back in Newfoundland, when all of these maritime guys were coming in, Mike Hughes, Titus, the American Patriot, what did the guys in Newfoundland think? Were they accepting of them? Did they want them to come in? Did they think they were coming in and taking spots away from guys that were already there?
So,
and all this was for Legend City Wrestling. Yeah.
So when they started LCW, a lot of guys locally had a problem with Dan.
Yeah.
Because Dan,
he was weird when he was up there. I didn't get along with him.
Dan was a weird dude. I can say it now. And he'll probably see this somewhere on the line. He's probably, anyways. Dan made enemies out of a lot of people. Like
Yeah.
Dan wasn't a good dude at the end of it all, or during his run, if you want to call it that, right? So, like a lot of guys had heat with Dan. So, you know, some guys worked for him, like myself, Nick Byrne, who else? Tristan Slater, Ed Power.
Was he Max Power back then too?
He was local then,
Yeah.
and he did Max Power after a while too.
Oh, okay.
So we had, I think,
He wrestled under a mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. I knew that.
yeah. So we had a small like crew, like guys locally who wrestled.
Yep.
You know, well, Tudam and Peter Wally.
Mhm.
Okay, so that was our crew. The guys who like didn't work for Dan because of personal issues or wherever else, like, you know, guys like Justin Locke here and Tony King and Fred, the guys who were around, just didn't work for him, didn't want to, just
Yep.
whatever, right? So that's why like there was like a split between like locals for a while,
Right.
and then the other half would
Newfoundland Pro Wrestling.
they tried that for a while.
Yeah.
They had one show and it flubbed because it was five guys who owned it,
Yeah.
right? So that whatever that was, and and then the guys they started up cutting edge wrestling. So Gore and a few guys put money together and they built this ring, nice ring too,
Mhm.
and they built that and they ran shows for a while, right? So yeah, there was always just this weird like split down the middle in
Right.
Newfoundland because of that.
Yeah.
Because
What about like the Maritime guys coming in? Did the Newfoundland guys care about that, or were they?
yeah, so yeah, that's where I was going there. So that split. So we had our guys who were all for it.
Yeah.
We were all for it, and from what I understand, there was a notion that the Maritimes was bad to come in to take over
Right.
for a while, after a while, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly like who or what had an issue with Mike and Dan. I just know that was a general issue.
Yeah.
Half the guys just didn't want to work for Dan.
Yeah.
So as a threat, I don't think anyone thought of the guys coming in from here as a threat, because when Dan started bringing in all these guys, wrestling was sort of dried up
Right.
in Newfoundland, and Dan and Steve sort of brought wrestling back
Right.
by doing smaller shows like Club One and whatnot, right?
Yeah. And Steve Clark eventually left Legend City Wrestling. He started Newfoundland Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
Right. And he brought in some guys from here too. I think he brought in like Brody Steele and Marcus Burke maybe at
He
one point.
brought in Marcus Burke, and he brought in Saint and
I
Titus.
think Pete was there too.
Pete was there as well, yeah.
And like Caitlin Diamond maybe, or was she LCW?
He brought in Caitlin Diamond and well, she did both, I think.
I think.
Or they brought in Spinelli too, I think. Was it?
Possibly. I don't remember who the other girl was.
Was it Spinelli maybe?
What was the thought in Newfoundland when the rosters were split and there was more Maritime guys coming in, girls from Ontario?
Yeah.
What was like? You were with Legend City Wrestling. What was like what was going on?
So of course then it's the classic, Monday Night War scenario. You felt like you're forced to be in,
Yeah.
right? Because that's the
They brought in the guy from, not to cut you off, but they brought in the guy from England too, right? Doug Williams?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was there too. Okay.
Yeah. I think that was the only name they brought in. Oh,
Yeah.
and Dino as well.
Right.
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 So where are we going?
The Monday Night Wars between.
Oh yeah, yeah. So that was the Monday Night Wars. There was a notion that like Dan made us feel like we had to, because Steve was just saying, "Oh, I'm just gonna run smaller shows, do my own thing, and that's it." But Dan's all, "Well, this is my town now. This is my territory." Blah 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 blah. Right. So it's like we were forced to, like, not that we had heat with Steve.
Yeah.
But we just didn't work for him. We didn't acknowledge. We didn't,
Right.
which is what it is. So after a while, I don't know what happened with them, but they just stopped running shows.
Yeah, they didn't. I don't think they ran very many.
No.
Yeah.
And so that ring that Steve used for that, they sold that to Travis Jonathan for a new Illusion Wrestling,
Okay.
which is the ring they use now. Actually, I think they use the cutting edge ring now. Actually,
Okay.
which is way better.
Yeah.
But yeah.
At one point in time, they had Legend City Wrestling had a television deal with NTV.
Yep.
How did that come about, and what did that mean for you guys? And did you notice any more exposure on your product from that television deal?
How it came to be, I'm not really sure how it happened. Dan kept a lot of stuff like quiet,
right?
Like very hush hush. That was one thing he did. I'm sure he did because he, it's Dan. But anyways, he kept a lot of things quiet. So all that stuff, DLC, we had no idea about. But like for us, it was just the idea. It was just more exposure. Yeah. It was cool. We were on the TV. You know what I mean? It sounds cool. It looks cool.
Yeah.
It is pretty cool.
For sure. Yeah.
It's something that Newfoundland hasn't done in years. So for us, more exposure. And there was word, like rumor around after a while that it was like viewed in like so many continents over the world and whatnot. I can't remember the exact numbers. Maybe it's Dan full of shit again, but
we're wrestling reality aired all over the world too, so there's no reason why you guys didn't. I don't know how that works. But it was probably picked up somewhere. Yeah.
As for money, the show didn't draw him any money. I don't think at all. And they were actually they had a third season booked, filmed and done, but they couldn't air it because Dan owed money to the guy who filmed it, edited, and all that stuff. So this guy was holding on to all this like a whole year of footage and some good matches too. I'm talking like Apollo and Mike Hughes, and he had Mike Hughes and Dukes. He had some good matches.
Those guys still have
it? Maybe. And maybe.
What's his name?
Yeah, but it's like, dude, like great. So for years, I think 2 years or more, NTV would air the same episode over and over and over again. So you get like, next event, December. It's like, no, that was 2 years ago. Like it's just like a weird thing. So it just really dropped the ball on that one. So what was really cool and could have been something huge, Dan just let fall apart.
Right.
Yeah.
You've always, or go back to like the mid 2000s just for a second. Mainstream wrestling used to come and do tours of Newfoundland. You weren't a wrestler yet, but did you go to any of those shows?
Yeah, there was. They did one at the curling club.
Yeah.
So they were supposed to have a Money in the Bank match with Jason Rumble, who was the champion at that.
Yeah.
I think he was in it.
Probably.
And they had a seminar. Mike Hughes and Jason Rumble.
Yeah.
You show up, you pay $40, you train to be a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
So we all knew about it because this is when we were doing our shows locally. All of us young lads in Newfoundland, right? So me and Wheels, I remember we were the only two that showed up and paid our $40 here, Devin. We went back, we got changed, and we went out. And Scott Savage helped us do our warm up. We did laps and stretched, and then Mike Hughes and Rumble got in the ring with us. I think we spent at least 3 hours.
That's awesome.
And 3 hours I think it was, and like they beat the shit out of us. Not like bad,
right?
Like they showed us like drills, bumps, like all this stuff, like training and stuff. Like it was 3 hours of like just knowledge. And me and Wheels, I remember leaving, and barely walking out of the building like this. see you later. And that night we had a show. They had a show there, so we went back to the show, and they had a small house, so that's why they changed the card up. They didn't have the Money in the Bank after.
Right.
They had Mike versus Grimes.
Nice. Sarah Stock and Natalia toured Newfoundland at one point too with them. Do you remember any of those shows?
I don't think that show was low. That show went to St. John's though.
Didn't go to St. John's?
No.
Okay. I wasn't sure of all that. I know they went to Newfoundland, like Labrador and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know the year this happened, but at some point Hulk Hogan came to Newfoundland and did a tour with, I forget the guy's name.
CWI. Nitro Nick Wyman.
No, okay.
Nick Nitro.
Nick Nitro. Was Jim Thompson involved in that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought. They left, like, there was a huge controversy with that. They left a lot of hotel rooms unpaid, venues unpaid. I don't know if all the boys got paid. But what were your first thoughts when you heard that tour was coming? I think Wildman Gary Williams was on that tour too, and they had half the Attitude Era roster there, like everybody. The
Roll Dog, Billy Gunn, Nasty Boys.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Beefcake.
Yeah,
we ran into all these guys on George Street one night.
What is it, 1997?
It was great though. So yeah, okay. So here's a scene. This is a little side story for you.
Yeah.
This is a scene. Me and my friend will leave the bar. Grease leaves. Here's Bruce Beefcake, hammered, leaning on a hot dog cart. My friend goes, Bruce, put me in a sleeper hole. So Bruce grabs him and puts him in a sleeper hole. Then we go to the bar, Martini bar. Here's Jerry Sags, Brian Knobs. Brian Knobs goes to my friend, buy me a beer. My friend's hammered. He goes, fuck you, Knobs. So Knobs chops him again. Chris chopping him and chopping him. My friend's laughing, and I'm like, for fuck's sake, this is ridiculous. And then we're going outside, and they're following us. And this is when the Flatliners, Nick Andrews, Stone Rockwell, and his partner at the time, they're, I guess, taking the boys to the hotel or to do the cab, which is a mess of a scene of like pro wrestlers. But yeah, so that was my side story. But
it's hilarious.
Just random stuff that happens, right? But again, it goes back to like Dan made us feel like they were coming in to hurt us, hurt the business.
You're happening wrong that time.
Dan trying to save the business is ironic, but yeah, so again, we thought they were coming in to hurt us and take our money that wasn't there. Yeah, so it was a negative thought, right? We didn't know what to expect, right? So, and you know, after it was all said and done, we were all like, well, this is right, because they gave wrestling such a bad rep.
Yeah,
all over the island.
Did that affect you guys, like trying to book venues and hotels and stuff in the future?
Yeah, I think it did, because there's a lot. Like I remember the first year with Dan and Steve running shows. It seemed like it was easy to get hotels, and people were more believed you more. Like, even more, trust you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
After that, it seemed like it was harder to get trust. You had to get down. You had to pay up front or down, payments or whatever, or all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they really put a big stain on pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it still felt today, or is it gone by now?
The stain?
Yeah.
So the stain in Newfoundland wrestling, and I actually heard about some of this recently from the guys that run the island now, Travis and Sheldon, that Dan Bjorkdahl made a huge mess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Dan Bjorkdahl left a trail of shitty ass crumbs that like you're gonna be picking up for a long time, right? And it's not me throwing shit on Dan's name. It's just a fact that people know his name because of this.
Right.
It's not because he wrestled or whatnot. Just because he was shitty, right? That being said, Dan helped me get my foot in the door, but he also helped me realize what not to do in the business, and for that I'll be grateful. But I'll never respect a man ever again for what he's done. Nobody's done to my island. He's, again, there was tours where Mike Hughes had to bail him out because he didn't have gas for the U-Haul to get back from Labrador.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They had to fly Mike home from Labrador one time because they had no other way to get him home or something.
He didn't care about us.
Yeah.
He would, but again, I think it was just at the end of the day, he lost it. He lost his cool, his shirt. He didn't know how to deal with it, so he ran off with a bunch of debt and burned towns.
When did New Evolution Wrestling start? Were you still living in Newfoundland?
Yeah. So they started, they're in the third year now. They started just before I moved here.
Okay.
December 2016. December 28th.
That's run by Travis Jonathan and
Sheldon Mitchell.
Sheldon Mitchell?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts when you heard that those two guys were going to start running?
So this is around the time like when Dan was sort of like losing his shirt. Like there was, I lived with Dan at the time, and there's money I was paying him that wasn't going towards bills or whatever. So I knew it was a sinking ship, and Travis offered me a spot to work his show, right? It's kind of funny. So Dan said, "No, I'd rather you're not, because you're LCW exclusive." right?
See, even though you can't work here, you can't work there as a Newfoundland.
So that was the only time I was ever like told that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of funny. It was the only time I knew there was something there. So I convinced Dan, hey, maybe we can work through shows too, whatever. And Dan Dan met up with Travis and tried to have a serious business meeting, and Dan wanted to treat his roster as essentially a B roster. We were the main roster, which wasn't whatever. Mm-hmm. So, kind of weird. So after a few weeks of like back and forth, I finally convinced. Yeah, I'm working this show. Mm-hmm. They brought in Renee and whatever they first show we worked. It was an awesome show, awesome match. The feeling in the back was unlike something that I've ever felt locally before. Yeah. Everyone was working together and proud of what we did. Yeah. I made awesome money, and then I went back to our house after the show and tell him about it and tell him I was happy for it. It was a good show, and you can just tell by his face. He was like, oh yeah, like yeah. So then we had a tour, one final tour for LCW. He brought in Apollo, Savio Vega. Lloyd Anoy.
Okay.
I know. I can't. Say his name wrong.
I do know who you mean.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it either.
Yeah, awesome dude. Like they covered like Apollo and Lloyd.
So
awesome
guy, right?
Yeah. Like they were cool. They were awesome. They helped me a lot too. Like, but this tour I knew we were getting burned. Yeah. So we were just touring. Each show Dan wasn't making money. You can tell. So then finally we had a show, I believe it was in Bay Roberts, and we hadn't got paid the 2 shows before that, and Dan said, I'll get you after this show. So before we started, we go outside, and me and Aziz and Wheels and the ref, and I go, listen, we can leave right now, get in the car and leave. We're getting paid. Mm-hmm. And, we decided, no, we're going to do the show because people paid to see the show tonight, wherever. If you have 10 or 100, whatever, same thing. Yeah. So we do the show. Before the show, they had this like speech to get Apollo and Lloyd to tell us we're the face of the company and all this stuff. First time you heard this ever, right?
Yeah.
After the show, we're done, and Dan goes, can't pay you guys, no money.
All of them.
Yeah. So this is it. And then before that, like the ring would always snap, the braid, the rope on the top would always pop off and whatever. So it was all said and done. I might have mixed up timelines, but this is how it roughly happened. Like after that tour, Dan was going through a rough time financially, like big time, and lose his cool. When it was all said and done, the ring was scrapped for like $16.34.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Maybe I'm off by a cent, but that's a rough number, 16 something. So after that, I was like, I'm done. Obviously I'm done. So I started wrestling for new. And after that's when I started doing after a few shows, I started working with Steve Arsenal. Yeah. We did a program where eventually I beat him for the belt. Yeah.
Why was he the guy they brought in?
I have no idea. I have no idea. Yeah. Like,
nothing against Steve. He just seems like a random choice, right? Like,
I never ever asked him why. I have no idea why either. Yeah. But I guess
maybe he just reached out and they were like, absolutely. You know what I mean?
I think maybe he might have offered him like, hey, I'll be this guy for you, and he came in and he
oh yeah, there's nothing against Steve. He was a great wrestler. He looked like $1 million
every time he came in. He helped the guys too. He'd do seminars too, and he gave advice, and he helped me out too. We had an awesome match last going off. We were after the show. We were wrestlers gotta be tough all the time. You can't sell your shit. So we were after the show. We were all at the round table, Tony King's house, having beers, and I walk into the room and I see first he goes from this to this, and I'm walking into. You good? He's like, yeah. I was like, no. He's like, nah, man. I'm fucking. I mean, him just like fucking keel over. Yeah, it's good. And then that was it. So yeah, that was. But then after that, it was like I was moving here a few months later after I won the belt. So you know, this is kind of an issue. Do I lose the belt? Like, how I can't afford it. I'm not gonna pay to like come home for this. Like, I can't. So first time I'm being put in this like spot. Now I'm a flight guy, which is weird. Which is weird. Even to this day,
they put the title on you and you fuck off.
Yeah, right the hell. Yeah, so it was cool too. They brought me out for dinner too. We had a steak and we discussed what we're gonna do moving forward.
Yeah,
they were awesome. They're really cool. So it being the first time on the show, them I was worth this. So we had a deal. They'd pay for half up front, and I'd pay the other half through like sales of like things for the show, like tickets. So for each like thing, I'd sell like a half to towards my flight.
Mm-hmm.
So we did that was our thing for a year or more, and then I lost the belt to Tony King, and they still kept our same deal, even though.
There's always pets in the interview.
So we did that for like they paid my flights. Even after I lost the belt, we still had the same deal.
Yeah.
Right, and they were so cool to me too. Like if everyone's going through a rough time with money, they would help me out they would help me out with money and not expect anything back.
Right.
Financially, they sent me 50 here and there for food, whatever, and that was cool. You know, moving here with nothing, it was rough, and they see me busting my ass. They were cool with that. It came time for me to win the belt back off Tony King, and this is a time when personally I may have been getting a big head and ego with the whole like being a flight guy stuff.
First class.
Yeah, I got it once, but it was like fluke. But
right.
So, I was getting ahead of myself. I thought I was bigger than the company, and I believed I was their I was the guy.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. So,
to be fair, you probably were.
But that's how like they billed me as. I was doing the interviews, and I was the guy that they were pushing. Like, show you need to be this guy, right? And I always say you need to focus on your crew as a team, right?
Yep.
So it came time to go for the belt again. I said I can't have this belt if I gotta pay for a flight in any way. I can't go around trying to sell tickets for the show and finally pay for a flight. So you need to meet me halfway here, and this is it, right? Foolish idea, like me now thinking to pay for a flight every show to bring in one of the guys. After a while, it's gonna eat up your costs. It's gonna eat up your money. So I was like,
even the new flying from here, it's not cheap.
Yeah, right. And somewhere a lot of money. So I was like, thinking now, like me a little bit, I'm like, damn, that's a lot of money that they spent. So back and forth. Travis finally said, "Yep, okay, fine. Here's the deal. From now on, flights are all good. Don't worry about it." Really? Like, seriously? Like, this is weird. Like, no one in Newfoundland got this deal.
Yeah.
And now here I am, like fucking giving an inch, I'm taking a foot.
Yeah.
Kind of deal, right? Like, so we did that. Couple months passed after this. Whatever it is, they announced they're doing a halftime show at the St. John's Edge game at the Mile One Stadium.
Right.
Right. Now my goal since I started was to wrestle in the Mile One. The goal was to be at a WWE house show or a show, but that's what it is.
I'll take what you can get.
Yeah. So I was here. It was announced last minute. So a flight. It wasn't a show. It was just exposure. So they were getting no money for it.
Mm-hmm.
So then to pay for a flight, it was rough. It was I was like
losing money.
Yeah, and I was like, shit. So I was like, I don't miss this, but they said they asked for you too. So it's kind of whatever. So we made a deal. They'll pay for half, and I'll pay for half with giving so much of my money each show to them, right? good enough. The thing was awesome. They had, I think it was 2,600 there at the Mall 1,
That's
right?
awesome.
It's pretty cool. It was coul, man. Like, surreal. And I got to wrestle Tony King. We meet him.
Did you do an interview for that show? Was that the one, or was that a different?
That was before that one. That was for the Last Man Standing,
right.
which I think it was. Wrestled me and Tony. Always good match with him. Always a Mac classic. So we do that, and that was it. It was a quick match, but still, it was still pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
So then I had the belt, and it's at the point where I feel like I can only go so far. I beat Tony King, and now here I am. I was pushed to a point where I'm here. Where do you go from here? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we worked. I have an idea to wrestle Psycho Mitch. Now Mitch is a monster. His gimmick. He's scary, kind of like Abyss. He's he's known for doing hardcore stuff. It's his thing. So for me, I did hardcore stuff here and there for the gimmick for like a story, but I was never known to be a hardcore guy. So we had a show where Mitch came out after a match and beat me up. And then we turned into I challenged him to a Monsters Ball match. Kind of what,
Yeah.
So we do that. We build it up. We do the, build it up as what it is. We do the backstage with no food and water for 24 hours or more, whatever it is. We do the match. It was crazy. Like, we used thumbtacks and all this stuff. And it's really good. It was actually won match of the year last year.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so we did that, and after that show, this is when shit got sour.
Yeah.
So after the show, again, going back to where I was at a point right here, couldn't go any further. My merch sales, like, every show would go down. You know what I mean? So more or less I was going back for like less than what I would make here, which I didn't mind because they were paying my flight and I was home for a visit, so it was still an awesome deal. It's still an awesome deal. I can't go wrong. So after the show, I go up to one of the guys around the show, Sheldon, and Sheldon hands me what I owe for flights, just to give me an idea. So he has half the flight for the halftime show, which is 2 something or whatever it was, and half the flight for this show because he said I didn't sell any tickets. Right. I didn't sell any because I had to be locked away for the Monsters Ball match.
Right.
So I didn't, but I know for a fact there was people there because I was there that would have paid for my flight.
Right.
So this is where the business and the ego clashed, and I pissed all over a deal and essentially walked away without doing my duty. So after the show, I left with a small amount of money because half my PO went towards the flight. After the show, I leave the show. I'm stewing. I'm kind of mad. He told me you didn't sell any tickets, and I was like, I was in the main event. In my mind, I was in the main event. I just bumped on thumbtacks for you. I'm bleeding right now for you. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I was stewing. I was bitter. After the show, Tony's house, I said, all right, guys, next show, I'm going to lose the belt. I'm done. I can't come back here anymore. It's not good for me. Just focus on someone else here locally. I'm done. I can't do anymore. And I'll give them the credit. They were still, even though I was being an asshole, they were still trying to work with me and offer me deals, and I just had enough. I was too far gone at this point. I was like, I'm done. I'm fucking done. So they say, all right, cool down, go back to Halifax, cool off, and we'll have a chat. Well, it didn't go like that. The cool off time made me just turning stewing over all this stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? So one day I called Travis and I just torn to him. It was a promo. It was the best promo I've ever caught my whole life. No one got it. And I just said, this is what I'm worth, blah, blah, blah. This is what I'm worth. Like, it's foolish, right? So after that phone call, just text back and forth, and he said, it was getting pretty mean, and he said, I'm sorry this came between us and our friendship, the line. He said, call me when you want to chat. So I took that as, oh, I guess I'm getting my future endeavors. So me wanting to get the one up, I went on Facebook right away and I announced my departure. Why did it wrong? I didn't commit to dropping the belt first before.
I was just going to ask. You're still champion at this point. Yeah.
So big no. You know, again, never fucking do that. Like, it's something even to this day I'm like, I know better. You know what I mean? Like, I know better than that. But at the time, I felt like pressure was on me every show. You know, interviews live, and like early flights to make it back for work. Like it was like I was, you know, show up, ring duty. Well, other guys didn't do it. Like I was burning out.
Yeah.
And I felt like I wasn't holding up my end of the bargain. And rather than go to the guys and say, hey, I feel like I'm not doing my job, I tried to keep up with them and see if I can make it work. In the end, lost my cool, I was an asshole, and walked away from, you know, home, more or less, right? After that, it was bitter mode. I told him, I'm going to come back from my island. And Travis said, you do you, right? I said, you motherfucker, you know, so you motherfucker, you know, but, and for months I was stewing on it, again, pissed off, doing a little vague Facebook post just to fucking create a spark. It didn't help me at all. It didn't get me anywhere. I got a lot of heat from the guys back home, guys who I started off with, who I felt hated me, and just I can tell that it wasn't me. That wasn't who, you know. So I endeavored myself, and after the fact, you know, bitter on Facebook and stuff again. Again, it's not who I am. It's not me. So I decided to try and, you know, build a bridge. You know, not to, you know, come back to new, but just to. I wanted to start off this year with no drama and no heat. Mm-hmm. You know, 29 years old. You know, it's getting too old for wrestling drama. You know what I mean? So they had some shows when I was home for the holidays. 2 shows, and each day I was there hanging out, just seeing the boys, and it was like I never left. You know what I mean? And then New Year's Eve, I went for a coffee with Travis and Sheldon. Pretty much, you know, I own my mess. I said I was in over my head. You know what I mean? And they said their piece and how they felt, and it was cool. Like we're, you know, now we're speaking again, right? Yeah. Am I gonna go back? Am I still there for new? I don't know. Like maybe not, because you know right now I don't think it's wise for them to invest in a flight for me when they can invest a little more in a names flight. Mm-hmm. This is my opinion, but yeah.
At least the door's open now, right?
I think so. Yeah, is
it?
I'm sure I can knock in a data answer with the right conversation, you know. But again, like
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, like but again, I don't wish them any harm. Like I said, the guys home work very hard. Yeah. They have some guys back home now that are new up and comers that are working their ass off too. So my hope is that these guys go the extra step and start working harder and reaching out to even here. Mm-hmm. You know, I've extended that and more once. They come up here, like I'll try my best to get you booked on a VIP show or something.
Some of them did one time for a Newbury show, right? Scott Humphreys and
Scott came up.
Yeah.
Travis was there with him as well. Yeah. But again, and Scott's an awesome talent. Mm-hmm. Scott would do amazing here. Mm-hmm. But you know, they gotta want it too. They
have to initiate it. They have to go for it. Right?
Yeah. And again, if they don't want,
you can't just expect it to come to you. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And again, if they're fine with doing the shows home locally, that's fine too. Right.
What are they do before we move away from the Flint? What are they doing differently that seems to be succeeding more so than the other promotions have failed? Because they seem to be drawing a good crowd on a pretty regular basis. Yeah. Like, what are they doing that's different? How have they tapped into the market that no one else was able to tap into?
You know, from my time there, I know they spend a lot of time like. Well, Travis is always like on his. From what I see, he's always out postering or whatever he's doing like to get the word out there. I don't really know what like his formula is. I really don't know. Okay. But he seems
working.
To be, he has like a very loyal a fan base now.
Good.
You know what I mean? Compared to the fans in LCW, like it's the same kind of feel. It's like the home feel. Like so, the wrestling that Dan brought, like with Mike Hughes and all of us, is what conditioned all the fans in Newfoundland to be a fan of wrestling, and not the extreme stuff that they did in Cutting Edge back years ago. Everyone thought that was Newfoundland wrestling.
Yeah,
we changed the face of it, and Travis and the guys they came along when Dan left a mess. They cleaned it up a little bit. And now they're dusting it off and doing their own thing, and it's working for them, right?
Yeah.
So there you go.
Good. So it's August 2016. You're moving to Nova Scotia.
Yep.
What made you decide to finally leave Newfoundland?
At the time, like I remember, I was working with I worked with Burke and stuff too before leaving. He said, "Well, I heard from him before too. You had to move. You had to move. Like you should out of here, right?"
Yeah.
And like I always wanted to, but I never did. At the time, I was seeing someone who was moving away for like school.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, well, I'll go too.
Yeah.
So moved up here, and here I am. Started wrestling and stuff, and after about almost a year, came home from a tour, and things weren't as they seem. So that ended there. So I stayed here still. I remember my mom telling me, "You gotta move home. You gotta move home." And I said, "No." I said, "I can't move home. I'm not done here yet." I said, "I can't."
I remember the first time we talked about it. I remember you saying that you were going to stay for at least a year, but you weren't sure.
Because we were thinking of going to Ontario after that. Yeah. So I'm staying for a year. I'm staying there. I'm not done here yet. So that's why I just wrestled and whatever else, and I stayed. So I believed there was, I knew there was something here for me, and if I went home, I'd just go back to square one.
Right.
I felt like I worked too hard to go back there.
First match I remember you having when you moved up here, it might not have been your first, but I think it was the first one I was at, was a show in Amherst against the American Patriot. Do you have any memories of that match?
yeah. So, yeah, all right. Yeah. So, back then, I was a little forgetful. Sometimes I get a little excited, maybe jump the gun on the spot. So, wrestling Troy, it was going very well. And then some spot I messed up, and I remember Troy being in the ring. Fuck! God damn it! Yeah. And then finally we get to the finish. We finally get to it, the flag shot, pow pow, and he puts some extra oomph on it. Right through me. I fucking bump. I get up, pins me, and he fucking, I knew he was pissed. He threw my leg down, right? Fuck! He's in the ring. He's still crazy. He gets out the ring. He walks back, and it's like, uh-oh. We're gonna yell. And the fact that he yelled made me pissed. I was like, if I go back mad, I'm gonna be a bitch. So I was like, I'm gonna be mad too. So I go back, and we get back there, and we walk through the curtain, and he's fucking cursing and swearing, and like Mike and Pete are there just setting up like, other room. Alright, well, we're gonna fight. Shit. This is it. We're throwing down. So
you and Troy are good friends.
Yeah. So I was like, we're gonna probably punch her in the face and it'd be it. So I was like, okay, here we go. Take my tape off. I'm like, all right. We go in the room and he fucking hits the door. I'm like, hey, me too. Hit it too. And we're like, yeah. Fucking he goes, and he just hug. It was just like I was like, oh shit, I gotta punch him. This is gonna be rough, because Mike and Pete were there, and I know how things would have been handled back in their day. Mm-hmm. So I was like, they give us the nod to fight, now we gotta fight. I was like, oh shit, if I lose, don't get booked ever again if I win. Wait, over as fuck. That's all. What do I do?
Make this a draw.
Yeah. So.
So that was August 2016. When was the first time you were booked with UCW? Because Eric, UCW up until right around that time was run by Chuck Martin and Devin Chittick. Yeah. You would have moved up when Marcus Burke had already taken over UCW.
Just taken over the book then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
It was like a month before.
Yeah, because I know I moved here, there was a 3-day shot. There was like Kenso?
Yeah, in Cape Breton?
Yeah. Was it Kenso? Yeah, because there's Kenso and there's 3 shows. And my first match was the Fatal 4-Way.
Okay.
Patriot.
Was that after the Mike show or before? Do you remember?
Mike's the one I did.
The Amherst one. The Maritime Wrestling.
Oh, no, 'cause I came up for that one. That time was before I moved here.
Oh, so you weren't living here then?
Yeah, because so what happened with that one? I think it was like 23 matches that June.
I think Steen had a show the night before.
Yeah.
You were a lobster.
Yeah. So yeah.
And then it was Mike's show, and then there might have been one PEI the next day.
Yeah. So I remember that month was a June. I did 23 matches in 1 month because it was a Labrador tour, that 3-day shot, and a tour in Newfoundland on one.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was So I remember.
So you didn't live here then?
No.
Okay.
No. So I remember we did it was.
You must have been planning to move, because that was August. You said you moved August, unless you didn't move in August.
Was it August 2015 though? Me and Troy.
Yeah, so it was a year later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm trying to remember. I did the Labrador tour first, believe, and then got home, flew out the next day for Mike's, came home, and then Newfoundland tour.
Yeah. Mike's
tour, and flew back for the Labrador tour.
Okay. I had the year mixed up. So that was a year before you moved. Okay.
Yeah.
So you moved up in August 2016.
Yeah.
And when did you start working with UCW?
Right away.
Right away?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I remember reaching out to Kevin Tyler. And that was a waste of time.
You've never worked for IHW, right? Did you work there once or twice?
3 times, I think it was.
3 times? Okay.
Yeah. And I reached out to Mike, and at the time, me and Mike were on the outs as well. So, I tried to be like, "Oh, sorry, Mike, for not missed you, fixed your shit." And
because you and Mike had a falling out at one point as well.
So I
remember being there when you guys met each other, or you went to go talk to him for the first time.
Yeah,
you were all nervous.
Is he gonna kill me?
No, well, I think that was like Russell, Nova Scotia or something.
We had a little falling out, and Dan was a cause for most part. So I saw my pride, and I was like, well, I'm gonna try anyways.
Yeah.
Why not, right? And messaged him, and hey, Mike, can move up, and Mike pretty much said, listen, you want my help now? Like, no, I get it. Like I was, if I didn't take the time to reach out and fix our heat, then why would I ask for help? And so that was it. Yeah. So I was down in the dumps. So I figured like everyone up there hates me now because Mike. I figured he heard it through.
It just trickle down.
Yeah, right. So at first, like no one, I wouldn't get booked. Like no one would answer me, or that would happen, or whatever. NWE, full roster, whatever else. But Burke was the one that gave me the spot.
Yeah.
And he was honest. He said, I can't offer you big money right now because big roster, but I can offer you a spot and this. I said, okay, right. And that was it.
Was the first big UCW show you did, would that have been the Alberto Del Rio show? With Paige was here too. That was October 2016.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
The Halloween one. That was the fans bring the weapons match. I did.
The fans bring the weapons rumble.
Yeah.
Match? Yeah.
Yeah. That was that was my first like.
Where was the fish in that match?
There's the fish that in the face with a fish. Yeah.
That fish has a story. Like that fish, not that exact fish, but they used to bring a fish to Doolittle's And that's where that thing came
Really?
from. And I made a video. I don't know if this is why he brought the fish. I'm sure Chuck doesn't remember. This was 2003. They did a fans bring the weapons match, and a fan brought a fish. And instead of like the boys using it as a weapon, they, like the St. Mary's football team used to come watch every single one of the shows at Doolittle's. That place was packed back then, right? So they brought the fish to be funny. One of the boys took the fish and was going to hit the other person with the fish, but intentionally, accidentally, let the fish go over his head, so it went right to where the St. Mary's football team was sitting, right on their table, like right where all their food was, like right into the group of them. Before that show, I made a video, because there was another hardcore fans during the weapon match saying, at one point in time, there was a fish involved in one of these matches. And I don't know if Chuck saw that, and it was like, I remember, and then went and brought a fish. But anyway, tell the story of your hardcore battle royal. That's where the fish comes from.
Yeah, so then we're there in this battle royal, and you know, I was like, it is what it is. A lot of guys in there, and like, you know.
Yeah.
So we're in there, and I'm just in there swinging the trash can around and stuff, and I think I smacked Tommy Sarr in the ass with a plank of wood.
You did, I remember that.
Yeah. And then out of nowhere, Doug Robar comes breaking through the curtain. He gets in the ring, and this is me and Shane Stevens, and we just threw him out. And he's hanging on to the rope. He's hanging on. I just run and just fucking boot off the apron, like who's he? You know, nice guy though. You know,
yeah.
I knew he was so.
You would later work for him.
Yeah, I know. Nice dude too. Sorry, Doug. Yeah, I get thrown out of that match, and out of nowhere I feel this in the turn, and this fish, this fillet, was, and I was like, and he kept this Chuck and as a menace.
Yeah. Oh no, you just you ruined it.
Yeah, it's like, oh no. Sorry, I mean, it wasn't Chuck.
Yeah. So, what were your thoughts on, like, you had worked with a bunch of different legends and stuff before in the past, but this was your first time experiencing it up here. Was it any different than working with those guys, like down in Newfoundland, with Del Rio up here being the main event against Marcus Burke? Was there anything any different?
No, like, of course, after a while, you sort of like, not look past, but you sort of like treat them as one of the boys.
Yeah.
They're on the job just like you are. They just, you know, get paid more. No, but like,
Everyone's there to see them.
Yeah. I just, you know, it's cool to work with them and, you know, speak to them and, you know, but for me, like, the whole meeting them thing is cool and all, but for me, I would like to work with these guys to sort of fully appreciate it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, I just see them as on the job as I am as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just the respect level is much higher, of course, because they're established.
Yeah.
You know.
It was right around that time too that Greaser James Carr and Damien Spades put Emily, the referee, through a table.
Yeah.
That hadn't really been done around here before with a female. What were your thoughts when you heard that was going to happen and how it all played out?
I didn't believe it was going to happen. I thought it was a rib. Like, I was like, no.
From the top rope.
Yeah. No, I was like, and man, like, that was crazy.
Yeah.
That Emily's crazy and tough. Like, she's tough.
She's really small too.
She's tiny.
Yeah.
Like, and she went through a table like she came down pretty hard and came back. She was fine. Oh, I'm good. Like, what?
Yeah.
You know, but that's her. She's workhorse. She's tough. She never complains ever, right? Ever. But I thought it was crazy. And the heat that got was unreal.
Yeah.
Like that story, because of her doing that, it made it way more personal than it would have been if they just said TLC match or every day.
Yeah, if it was just hit her, yeah.
Yeah, and that was real. Now they got a fucking fight because that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And at first I was worried too. Like, what would the fans think of this? Like, You know, it's a woman getting beat up.
Yeah.
Well, this could be bad.
Yeah.
Especially fast forwarding to what came out later on in the news about, you know, Steve and stuff. But
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Is what it is.
Yeah. So a few months after that, April 2017 rolls around. They book, UCW books their first huge, they've had big shows in the past, but they were working towards like breaking their own records and things like that for this huge, I believe it was the 10th anniversary show. It had Ryback booked on it, Kelly Klein, Bushwhacker Luke was there. The main event was Marcus Burke and JP Sims. That was Covey's debut with UCW. He tells the story about how he was booked and then unbooked and then rebooked just before, like 2 minutes before the match was going on.
Yeah.
What you were in a tag match on that, on like the VIP portion?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your memories of that? There was almost 1,300 people there.
Yeah.
Was that the biggest crowd you worked in front of up until that point?
Yeah, I think there's...
Because I know there was a big one in Newfoundland.
Yeah,
too.
there was rumor that we did 1,500 with Jake and Teddy DiBiase.
So,
but I mean, that's
right around there.
Yeah, so same kind of deal. Big crowd, yeah, that was pretty big. We did a tag match. I believe it was me and Max, against Kicking and Stomping, and Super Astro.
Yeah, and somebody.
Who masked? Was it Nemesis? No.
No, I don't think he was trained yet. He might have been. But it definitely wasn't him in the match. But
yeah.
Either way, like you guys were on the VIP portion of that.
And this is like our first time working with these guys.
Yeah.
Me and Max. So like, the French thing was, well, I mean, it wasn't. They weren't like speaking all French, but it was at first.
Yeah.
When you first, I find when you first work with somebody, you got to get that gel. You gotta get that. How do I explain this? Don't sound weird. You gotta get this like warm up match to get a feel for how they move, how they work, right? I wasn't a fan of that match. I don't know why. I just remember going back and thinking like we didn't do good for the spot we were put on, even though we were VIP. We still had a big.
That was a long day. That show was like 7 hours long.
It was crazy.
That's not even exaggerating.
Yeah.
Everyone's out there for all of it.
Yeah. So like, you know, I wasn't a fan of my match. I remember. I felt like I dropped the ball, but that's what it is.
Would you have liked to have been higher up on the card, or do you think at that point in time that's the spot that you should have had?
I don't like to say I should have had a spot. You know what I mean? Like I feel like every spot I'm in is for a reason.
Yeah.
At that point, I don't think I would be comfortable in front of that crowd. You know, with the weight, that's the big 10-year anniversary. You know what I mean? I think then I was still a new face here.
Yep.
So my name, even though it's not a big draw now, I don't think my name then would have been worth anything higher on the card.
Yeah.
VIP, I had an opportunity to be out there and show the crowd who I was.
Yeah.
So for me, that was enough for then.
You didn't necessarily want to be a tag team wrestler either for as long as you were.
Yeah.
You wanted to be like a serious singles wrestler. But back then, were you happy being in the tag team? Or even then, you didn't want to do it, but you did it because it was the spot that they gave you?
Yeah, so like at first I was offered a spot like he said you can be, you know, on your own or you can be with Ed, you know. So I chose to work with Ed because Ed had some ideas to be the new world order.
Yeah.
And as he wanted to do like a Newfoundland thing, like a big faction.
Yep.
I was all for it because I thought it was cool. It's, you know, a couple newfies here, and then somehow when he told Burke the idea, Burke said, "You got to get the yellow hat." You got to get the yellow hat. So I hated the idea. You can ask Burke, ask anybody. I've complained and bitched about this hat and this coat numerous times.
The oars behind him as well.
Yeah, they would paddle. But I hated it. I hated it, you know. I thought it was a joke, you know. They're not going to take me seriously about all this stuff, right? I want to be cool and tough and, you know. But then I realized We're generic, and you're that tough guy. No one remembers who you are.
Right.
Right? You need a character, a gimmick. Whether it's a yellow hat or a paddle or whatever it may be. The generic tough guy wrestler doesn't get remembered. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gimmick is, I believe, is necessary no matter what it is. And as much as I hated this gimmick, right now I can't imagine doing anything else because
right.
it works for me and it's getting popular as each show goes on.
You guys got it over.
Yeah.
To all things considered, you guys got that over. The fans were fully behind you, and like your feud with Sabotage and everything like that. It got over. It worked.
I didn't think like at first. I remember our first show walking out through the curtain with the hats on and the coats on. There was that awkward silence, and every time I go to a show, it's the first time doing that gimmick. It's always that awkward silence. Yeah. It happened in Montreal when I did it, in Quebec as well. Like the first what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? Like, I remember I did one show and the kids were calling me Georgie. So I was like, well, okay, that's something. But, like now I come out and the fans clap along to it and they know what it is, right? So it's like, shit, like, this is kind of cool. Me and X-Max, split up and I chose to still do it because it's who people know me as now, I guess. I'm Buddy.
Buddy Wrestles.
Buddy Wrestles.
So, what are some of your memories of wrestling throughout 2017 with Ed?
It was fun. It was fun, man. Like even though I was out there and I was being a certain character, me and him, at the end of the day, it was just me and him, just being ourselves, just over the top. So, like, there was never any stress at all. It was always just like it was funny. I didn't see it as wrestling or tough or a match. It was just having fun with my friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and you could tell, at least from my perspective, like filming, you could tell you guys were having fun out there.
We didn't script anything. Everything we did and said out there was just said after, just whatever, right? But I remember me and him really came together and we started working with kicking and stomping, and that TDT was real. I think that was a test for us, because I remember going into that match nervous as fuck, because TDT, I watched the videos and I see them. They're tough guys, man, but at the end of the day, they're so nice.
Yeah.
Right. So me and them were they're gonna kill us. They're gonna kill us. They're gonna kill us. And it was fine. They were awesome.
Now, Sabotage won the tag titles at that TLC match at that April anniversary show, and then lost them a short time later to Kickin' and Stompin'. And you guys won them from Kickin' and Stompin' later that fall? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your memories on getting the tag titles?
I didn't think it would I didn't think me and Ed were in the run for it. You know what I mean? I didn't think we would be able, I didn't think we were thought of as good enough to go over those guys kicking and stomping.
Because it didn't even happen at a big show or anything. I mean, there's a lot of people there, but it was just a regular show. I feel,
So I didn't think it would happen, but when they say, you're over, what, really? Yeah. It's pretty cool. For me and Ed, it was a cool moment that we shared, because remember him saying, I have an idea, I want to be a team. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know, man, the fucking yellow hats are stupid. They're gonna be a joke. We can't fucking do that, but whatever. And then here we are. It was cool. You know what I mean?
Max Power doesn't make all of the shows like you do, so you would wrestle singles on the shows he didn't work at. What was that like, switching between a tag and going singles on some other shows? Were the fans having a little bit difficulty grasping that, or did they just get it?
There'd be shows where you hear someone say, "Where's Max?" or something like that, right? But the difference was really it was just learning to adapt for me. So rather than be all tag team, I was doing both. So for me, I had the opportunity to work my new gimmick on my own as well. So I was able to try new things that I couldn't do or like that. I could do with Ed, but like it would be, you know what I mean? It would make sense. So for me to do both, I just see it as an opportunity to like learn how to work.
Yeah, that's awesome. And later that fall, they announced they were going to do War Games the following April at the 11th anniversary of UCW show. Were you originally announced for that War Games match? Because there was almost nobody. Yeah. They announced that was going to be in that match at that show. Yeah. Was in that match. Were you guys originally part of the match? You were? Okay.
Yeah, that's since day one.
I think you guys are it. Like,
it was like, I believe it was like Frankie the Mobster was in it, and son of Abdullah, Drawine was in it, Khan was in it. Yeah. No, I was like...
Not only did those guys not in that match, they weren't even on the show.
No,
I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened there. Yeah.
But in fairness, it was booked like 6 months ahead of time, 2 or 5 months. It was a while out, but you'd think that they would have had that worked out already. But I don't know what happened. I thought it was strange that come match time, not a single...
All different.
Just you guys. But what were your thoughts on them announcing War Games? In indie wrestling, a lot of stuff gets announced and you get to the venue that day and your War Games cage just isn't there. Yeah. Like, did you think it was going to show up? What did you think of the concept in general for you guys?
For me, at first when I heard it, I was like, this is cool. This is the Maritime's first War Games match. And I remember like watching War Games matches from like back in the day and thinking this is a cool concept. Oh, yeah. Like, this is wrestling, like it's a fight. You got a team fight, you know what I mean? So for me, I was excited. And then I was curious as to how they were going to make this work. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like they're gonna put up 2 rings. They're gonna put up 2 rings and 2 cages. It's like so.
Because not only does the cage have to fit, the rings have to be the same size.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was like, what?
It's a lot to it.
Yeah. It's not just like boom, boom. It's like you gotta think it through.
Yeah.
So I remember showing up to the venue. I just got off work. Show up and the cage is up. And
oh, you didn't see them put it up?
No.
Okay. When the ring showed up originally, it only had 2 posts. Dana had to drive back to Churro to get the other 2 posts for the ring.
That would never happen. Not Dana.
I don't know if it was supposed to, but I remember people that day saying they wanted the cage to go around the ring, so it was taller, but it had to sit on the floor. Yeah. I don't know why that was either, but
yeah, and that was weird too because it was like it wasn't very high. Yeah. So
it was the real cage. Yeah. But it just didn't really fit.
So I remember thinking, okay, it's cool, and then thinking, all right, now what are we gonna do with this thing? Yeah. And then that was it, and it was the most confusing, difficult time I've ever had. Well, one of my rough times in wrestling. I think at one point I was thrown from one ring to the other. And I got thrown through the ropes. My foot got caught. I did a split-legged moonsault off the middle rope, I think. Yeah. Kobe's seen it. I don't know. It was a rough match. We got through it. Will it happen ever again?
Who knows?
Hey, I'll try it.
What are your thoughts of it being on the VIP portion of the show? I remember, I think it was Pete Dunne that was like laughing like that War Games was VIP. He Snapchatted it to everybody.
Yeah, I thought it was like strange.
Yeah,
because I wouldn't. It shouldn't be main event by no means because of who is on the card. Yeah. But VIP, like I feel like fans.
And I get why they did it because it's setting up and tearing down and stuff.
Oh yeah. I feel like maybe like certain fans might have felt like they were losing out because they didn't buy VIP. Right. But I didn't see much stuff like negative stuff online about it, like that kind of stuff. But
no, I thought it was really good. Yeah, For what it was. Yeah, I thought it was great.
But I like some like people who showed up to the show like for after VIP.
Because not everybody like follows the Facebook page religiously to see VIP only, right?
Exactly.
To see a poster and says War Games, oh, I'm gonna go, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So maybe like next time, just like clear, like make sure that people know it's VIP, or just have it maybe like before intermission. Even,
Yeah. Well, that would make sense. Or even you could have. I mean, I did a show one time where you had 2 intermissions, just because it was so long, right? But you can have the second one be shorter, just long enough to tear the stuff down.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Again, it gives the people enough time to go buy more merch.
There you go.
Did you feel any restrictions or anything put on you in that match because it was VIP?
No, I just like. Of course, yeah, you know, you always want the full house, you want the full crowd. But like again, I didn't feel like I didn't hold anything back because I felt like the fans who were there still paid their amount, so I give them the full show as I would if there was a full house there as well.
And technically, those guys pay more.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
For you guys, than they do the regular show. You know
so
what I mean?
yeah,
they're paying that extra $5 or $10 to see you, as opposed to the people that don't see that match.
Yeah, so like being on VIP isn't a bad thing.
No, because those people actually want to see you more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so that's when you should really give extra.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Yeah.
What did you think when they announced Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate were coming here? It was the first time, at least that I can remember, that a WWE contracted wrestler appeared on an indie show here, and he was also and still is, the United Kingdom champion.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on when they announced that?
I thought that was pretty cool. Like,
and Jack Swagger too.
Almost surreal, yeah. Like, you know, because again, you wonder like, how is this happening? How are they allowed to do this?
Yeah.
What's their contract doing? Like, and like, you know, I'm a huge fan of his work too, Dunn and Bate. You know, so for me to meet them and see him do that match live, surreal.
I had best seat most for that. I was half a foot away from the ring.
So and they're like nice guys too, like you know what I mean. It was cool just seeing them live, dude. Put on that clinic was crazy. Yeah.
How smoothly he goes to a pump handle tombstone with like no stall. Like most people would kill somebody. Right? They could obviously have complete trust in each other. You know what I mean? Like no hesitation. You guys were tag champs going in the War Games. The belts weren't on the line in that match. The next night in Kentville, James Ellsworth was there. You guys lost the titles. You and Max Power lost the titles to Sabotage. What are your memories of that?
I remember that was one of my favorite matches I had with Ed and the boys. Like, I remember like going into the match, like I wanted to make sure it was perfect. I wanted, because like, we've worked with you guys numerous times now. We knew what we were doing. It was, you know, so we started off the match hot, like just brawling outside a little bit, and we got in and we ran through the whole match as we wanted to. It was like perfect. And then at the end was the sad moment where, you know, we lose the belts and we get the photo of us out back with our heads down low, right? So for me, like, we lost the belts. I thought that was the start of us going our own way.
Yeah.
So after the match, we're back and, you know, being serious. We're like, oh, this is probably don't have much longer left with the team.
Yeah.
And it was that
I think
moment.
people were expecting you to turn on each other that
Yeah. And then it was that reality, like, oh shit, like the fun, like this is when we just started doing our promos, and we were funny, and the moment we did with Sabotage, where we switched our clothes and stuff. Remember that one?
Yeah.
So we're getting over, and so now it's like, oh well, this is it.
Yeah.
But then I was like, that's the nature of it. Like, sometimes you do something that just changes like that. It is what it is.
Those were also Madison Miles' last show with UCW. What are your thoughts on her leaving UCW, and do you think it had any effect on the company? Because in my opinion, she's a huge draw.
Yeah.
I've said this in every interview. If anybody listens to all these, I apologize. Or thank you, but you're just hearing me ask the same question. It's different people.
Yeah.
Lila Dare and Jasmine were in the ring. The first show Madison wasn't booked on. And this is nothing against them. They're both fantastic. They just happen to be the people in the ring.
Yeah.
And a bunch of kids yell out, who are these girls? We want Madison.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that? And do you think she's missed?
Yeah, I think for sure, like, she definitely has a huge following.
Yeah.
You know, she's been around now for a number of years, and, you know, she spreads to, like, you know, you can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And that's something that, like, kids and little girls just want to hear. You can do anything. So did it hurt the shows? Maybe a little bit. Maybe some of her fans never went.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't see a huge drop in our numbers, but, you know, I'm not really sure on how many was there beforehand.
Yeah.
You know, me and her always got along, so I think the last time I worked with her was a show for ECPW, one of those tours.
Last, like July?
I think so.
Or June, or whatever it was. Did she work Allie's Wicker?
Yeah. Me and her always got along, and I miss her too, but, you know, it's what it is. I'm not sure, like, what happened.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Stay tuned. Her interview's coming tomorrow.
Yeah. So I don't know the ins and outs.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, you know, she definitely does have a following, and wherever she goes, you can definitely tell she's all over, right?
Yeah.
So,
now leading up, you and Sabotage continued your feud up until the summer. You guys had a match before the TLC match. I think it was before I'm sorry, not the TLC match, before the ladder match. There was a multiple person tag match. You guys were in it. Sabotage was in it. One member of Kickin' and Stompin' was in it, and Kieran was the other guy.
yeah.
Do you remember like Ed taking an awkward suplex in that match and kind of landing on his neck and head but being okay? Do you remember that? Because from my angle, it looked like he died, but he was obviously okay.
That was at the forum.
Yeah,
I remember that because he slipped. You went to give him like a scoop slam, and he slipped. Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
Ed's like, I think he's made out of rubber. I've seen Ed.
I was ready to be like, we have to carry him to the hospital right now.
No, I've seen Ed. I've seen Ed take that many spills. Like, he's tough.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
And he's always fine. Always.
So, leading up to the ladder match, you guys were main event on that show. Was that your first UCW like big show that was your first UCW big show main event?
Yeah.
What type of pressure? And earlier in the day, I think we shot a vignette of us walking around the ring. One of the funniest things I've ever filmed because there was a girls hockey game going on at the same time, and they had no idea. First, what are your memories of shooting that?
That was fun. Well, so I was like, well, we do something funny all the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, we did a promo leading up to the match, and we showed up to the venue, the wrong venue early.
Yeah.
So I figured we'll tie into our promo, we'll show up, we're in the wrong spot, and there we go. So I just told Ed, we'll just choose something, just do whatever.
Yeah.
We follow me and just talk, we'll do that. I got you, and we filmed.
Yeah.
I think it took 2 takes, but we did. Then we just, or maybe one. I don't even.
It was 1 take.
Was it?
It was one. We continued on.
Oh, yeah.
There was 1 take. We stopped, and then we were like, just keep going.
Yeah.
You walked up further. Yeah.
Yeah. So we just.
But they scored a goal during the thing too, and the place is cheering. It was It couldn't have played out any more perfect.
So we do that. And it was just. Again, that was one of the parts about me and Ed being a team that was fun. We just did whatever, right?
I was sad that you guys broke up that night or shortly after.
I know.
Because I was like, I had so many more ideas of things we could film. We go do it now. I was just like, oh, this happened before.
We'll save it for next time. Down the road, you never know.
But that was your first big main event on a huge UCW card. Ladder match against Sabotage for the titles. There was thumbtacks, there was tables, there was ladders. How much pressure did you guys feel going into that match?
So much. It was crazy. Like the pressure was unreal. You know, because here we are. You know, again, I didn't think I'd be considered main event yet.
Yeah.
You know, so to be put in that spot after the year that the year-long story that we all told, all 4 of us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to be put at the main of the show was like unreal. So that made it like more nerve-wracking. Remember us I'll be in the back, like being like sick, almost like nervous.
Right.
You know, not that because I was wrestling, just I wanted everything to go along as I wanted it to.
Mm-hmm.
And then so we get out in the ring, and then I notice all the guys from Smash and like Uno, they're all in Burke, they're all in the corner watching.
Long back wall.
Yeah,
right?
so I'm like, fuck. So we just get to it.
Yeah.
And once you start, that's it. Like we start off with our, the spot where we throw the ladder, and then it was just go, and that was it. And there wasn't a moment in the match where any of us were were lost, confused.
Yeah, it was
we
great.
just each of us just moved, right? The best part of the match was the paddle. This is the first time we used the paddle. So we brought it out to the ring, and you know, you gotta use a paddle. Someone gotta get a crack on the air. So Ed takes it, hits sabotagel, pop, pop, and I go, no. There's no one. No, I was like, so I take it, and you know, I don't know if you ever seen the Simpsons at the paddling, the quote.
Oh yeah.
And so I go to, I think it was Justin first or Connors. Make fun of the Maritimes. That's a paddling. And I leaned back and I fired through with it, and all I heard was the oh, and the crowd went oh, and then I seen Justin da paddling, and I hit it 1, 2, and they jumped up and so that was the best part of the match, I think, in my opinion.
You know, that match was fantastic. Connors got busted open on you DVD'd him through the ladder and he sliced his arm open. Justin went on thumbtacks, I believe.
Yeah.
Why was there a plastic table? What was up with that?
I don't know.
It's clearly not going to break.
He's gonna bounce off it. Yeah. I don't know. I just I have no idea why they used that one. I wish I could tell you. I have no idea. God damn.
So you guys, Sabotage wins that match. You guys stay together. You guys do your jig in the ring. I believe it was the next show.
Yeah.
But were you guys thinking of turning at each other that night? Was that something that was in the works?
Yeah, he definitely wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely like it felt right then.
Yeah.
You know, if it makes sense, it felt right.
Yeah.
You know, but that being said, we did it the following show.
Yep.
And it got a response.
Yep.
Because I feel like the fans were expecting it the previous show, and so it took a very little swerve. You know what I mean? So.
Generally, when a tag team breaks up, the two guys have a match.
Yeah.
You guys never had that match. Max Power's on the UCW VIP shows now. How come you guys never had that match?
Just can't get a hold of them. I just can't find them.
Here's your chance.
Yeah. There you go. No, we just haven't crossed paths yet. I don't know. Maybe, you know, a grudge match is something that should happen.
Yeah.
If the Maritime Wrestling fans want to see it, just go to the page and voice your opinion.
When did you start working for NSPW?
NSPW, I started working for them.
That's the belt right there.
This one right here. I started working for those guys. I want to say the first show I did was the Standing 8 tournament, 2017.
Okay.
I believe. Again, Burke, he offered me an opportunity to go up and wrestle the VIP spot of the show. So I drove up with me and Tommy Starr.
All right, I remember
Team
that.
Smith.
Yeah.
Right?
He asked me to come on that tour to do something. I don't remember.
Really?
But I couldn't make it.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
To come film or something.
That was sweet.
I forgot about that. That's
So we go up there and we drove up there and it was all good. That was my first match there, and it was cool. 'Cause I remember after our match watching the whole show and just impressed by all of it. The wrestling, the guys they had, the crowd was so cool.
Yep.
And watching the Standing 8 tournament and thinking to myself, I'll never be good enough to be in one of these matches ever. This is like cool stuff, cool stuff. That I mean, so that was that. And then fast forward a year later, I'm wrestling Marcus Burke in the first round of the Standing 8 tournament.
Yeah.
So kind of cool.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Yeah.
So when you and Ed broke up, that became your chance now to be your serious singles wrestler.
Yeah.
You broke up in August or September?
I want to say September.
September. You that would have been 2018. You shortly thereafter, UCW. I can't remember which tour it was where you won that title.
Yeah.
Colby Christ had been the champion for the previous 300 and I think it was over a year.
It was, yeah.
It was over a year. Who was the other guy in that match?
Dylan Donovan.
Dylan Donovan. What were your thoughts when you heard that that match was going to take place, and did you think that you were going to get the title? Was that the last UCW tour of the year, or the second last? There's so many shows.
We did a show in Riverview after that.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Oh, well, that's right. The same night as the IHW show.
Yeah. So
we'll get to that.
Yeah. So going into the match, I was excited for it because Dylan's from Quebec and he's young. He's like, I see his work is really good, and me and Kobe, of course, wrestled each other numerous times.
Yeah.
And me and him always have an awesome match, so I just felt like this was a good opportunity to show everyone what I can do, right? I didn't know I was going to win the belt until the day of the show. I didn't think I was going to go over until I was told. Yeah. It was cool. It was to be the first ever NSPW Maritime, a champion. Is pretty cool. It's something to add to the resume. You know what I mean? So. Surreal almost.
Right. Yeah. Now, there was a Maritime Championship.
Yeah.
That's the NSPW Television Championship.
Used to be.
Yeah. There's no mention of Maritime on that title. Yeah. How come you're using their belt and not the one that was here if it's the Maritime title?
Because if you remember the old belt, it was horrible. Horrible. Yeah. And this one is going to get some new plates soon, I believe, just to fix this up a little bit and make it more maritime friendly. Yeah. It just, that belt was horrible. It was ugly. It was like a toy belt, right? Missing gems and all this stuff, right? So that one's prettier. Looks nicer on my shoulder. Yeah.
And you defend that in other promotions and stuff as well, because I remember you defended it at the Newbury show against Steen. Yeah. Where you cheated because the hat was in the ring.
You was loaded Southwester.
It was loaded. So at the end of 2018, a lot of things started to change in maritime wrestling. I guess it had already been going on, because the year prior, Marcus Burke announced that he was only going to wrestle for UCW at this point. He was wrestling for both UCW and IHW at that point. When he announced that, you had been working for UCW consistently, but not so much IHW. What were your thoughts when he said that? Just one second.
So, like, when I first heard that, obviously I wondered, well, what happened? Yeah. What's going on? Why did he, leave? I never asked why, and it's his choice why he did it. So for me, it was like, well, this is big. Like, what's going on? Yeah. What's going to happen now, right? But again, he's a guy that he's helped me out since I moved here. So I have faith in that what he was doing was the right choice. Yeah. So.
Okay. Yeah. And at the end of 2018, a lot of things really started to become public on Facebook. Yeah. Like, people were arguing back and forth. It was all public. People being told, if you work for here, you can't work for here. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that situation, and has it affected you?
Yeah. So my thoughts. I see a lot of people writing a narrative to saying they're being told they can't work here, they're being bullied and whatnot, and that's fine and well, but the fact of the matter is I'm not being told what I can't do. Yeah. What I can do, I'm not being bullied, persuaded in any way. My choice is to work where I choose to work. Yeah. So of course I'm loyal to Burke and UCW, right? I'll work elsewhere, but the reason why I choose to not work for ISW, it's not even a choice that I don't choose to. Yeah. It's that, so I work a Monday to Friday job, right? My free time is my free time. I love wrestling, but I do need weekends to myself for my life. So right now, my calendar for this year, is pretty full for what I need, without ISW. No offense to them, but I just don't want to work there. Yeah. It's not because I hate anybody. I like having my time to myself. you know, it goes back to me being loyal. Burks had my back. He's gave me opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, over and over and over again, right? So, you know, I'm loyal to him, but again, my loyalty doesn't make me not work somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's never told me I can't go somewhere.
Right.
Wherever. I just don't go.
Right.
And you know, some guys will watch this and think, oh, he's being told to say that now. But no, I legit, you know, if I could work with Pete and Mike and them, you know, and if it's in my current schedule, then I'm all for it because those guys.
So it just, if they offered you a spot or offered you a booking on a show that fit your schedule, would you take it?
Right now, probably not.
No.
Like, cause, like I was telling you, my schedule right now is enough for what I have.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like ISW's never given me a chance.
Right. Yeah, because you, I remember we used to talk, and you used to try to get Kevin Tyler, who ran ISW at the time, doesn't anymore, to try and book you, and you didn't.
And again, I know they have new owners now, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's still, to me, it's just the you know, just the point is they never give me a chance yet. And like I said to you, to work with Pete and Mike and whatnot is it would be an opportunity for me to learn.
Right.
But it just is what it is.
Yeah.
So to go back, I'm not bullied or told what to do. I just choose to not work there.
Okay.
You know, it's a choice. And some people are gonna watch this and think, oh, he's full of shit and blah 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 blah. I'm trying to get to the point without rambling, but I choose to work where I choose to work.
Yeah.
So I work for UCW, NSPW, and you know.
You were like a champion of like mainstream wrestling in Brunswick, or the other one? Which one was it?
Mainstream.
Mainstream.
Right. So like
NWE, is that the other one?
I was there for a bit too.
Okay. Yeah.
But like right now, like as much as I love working in the Maritimes, I want to focus on outside a bit too as well, right? So, you know.
You mean like outside, like wrestling in Quebec?
Yeah,
or that makes perfect sense.
Ontario. So like, you know, I love, like I said, free weekends are what I need. But if I'm going to spend a weekend away from home, I need to make it worth my while. I want quality over quantity. Not to sound like I'm too good for anyone or any roster. It's just my personal choice.
Yeah, and branching out to places like Quebec and Ontario is giving you more exposure, giving you more contacts and stuff.
Exactly.
Too, right?
Yeah. Like that's just why. Just a personal, honest to God choice.
Yeah. No, I believe you.
Just so these people here believe.
I'm not trying to insinuate I don't. Everyone.
How dare you know?
Everyone has their own situation. You know, like you're good friends with Covey.
Yeah.
You mentioned you watched his interview. What are your thoughts on what he said and what happened to him?
Like, okay, so Kobe's very passionate, and that's something that everyone knows about wrestling, about just being a good dude. You know, what he says, I just think there's a big misunderstanding. You know, I just feel like maybe he asked if he could work for ISW, and Burke may have said, I can't tell you what to do. Something like that.
Yeah.
But I heard his story and Burke's story, and like I can see where the confusion happened. I can see it. You know, and there could be a time and a place for this bridge to get rebuilt. It could happen.
Yeah.
Right. But I feel like the difference could have been made another way. You know what I mean? I know he's upset, or he was a little upset that he felt like we never had his back.
Yeah.
And that's not the case.
Like him and Madison both said the same thing to me, not seeing each other's stuff. They both said that they felt like they lost friends over the situation.
And that was what I was trying to avoid. You know, I messaged Kobe, I said, listen, no matter what happens, we're still friends.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't want him to think we're all against him, because it's not the case at all.
Yeah.
I just know I've been around long enough through certain shit that I know when to keep my nose clean and to pick my own battles.
Right.
You know, and it sucks that he's not working for us anymore.
Yeah.
You know, because like I said, we had some awesome matches, and we still always chat, and we're still awesome friends. They'll never ever change.
Yeah.
It just sucks when I see my friend angry and hurt because of wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, I wish that this shit didn't happen and this kind of stuff. You know, we can all just get along, but it's business. I mean,
right.
When there's big money at play, you know, people do some things, right?
Yeah. So, just to clarify, you're quite comfortable with like your spot in UCW, being the NSPW champion, and you're not doing it because you choose not to, not because someone is telling you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just feel like if I'm gonna take a weekend like a weekend booking, I want to look for outside of Maritimes now.
Awesome. Yeah, and that makes total sense. Like, well, why would you necessarily stay here if you can go branch out in other parts of the country or down to the States?
Exactly.
If you have that free time, you're going to want to expand yourself, right?
Yeah.
Or expand like your career to go other places, make more contacts and things like that. It makes total sense to me. All right, we got some fan questions here. You ready?
Yeah.
These are the tough ones. From Kirku Bay, when will you do CrossFit?
When am I gonna do CrossFit? I'll do CrossFit when you wears the funny hat and kisses the fish, Kirk Obey. Next one.
Casey McKay. He's a VIP champion right now, right?
He is.
He is. Thanks for taking the time out, champ.
Yeah.
When does the Warrior and Dynamite, and I never read these ahead of time, just in case people are wondering, when does the Warrior and Dynamite team up one shot only under this name East Coast Connection?
East Coast Connection. Well, Casey's taking on the Greaser.
Yeah.
Right.
February 2nd.
And the VIP, yeah. And the Greaser got a friend named Damian Spades. So maybe down the road, Casey McKay, Dylan Davis, Dark Express could happen.
There you go.
Or
it's booked.
Or those two jerks Sabotage.
Yeah. Gotta get your belts back with somebody.
Somebody got help me out.
From Jason Langell, do you feel? Oops, I don't want to ban him. Do you feel wrestlers should wrestle for one promotion or multiple promotions in the Maritimes? We kind of just talked about that. And do you think we need more or less promotions in the Maritimes?
So, to wrestle, he said, should we have more than one?
Should you, well, it says, do you feel, doesn't matter. Do you feel wrestlers should wrestle for one promotion or multiple promotions in the Maritimes?
So, wrestlers, if you're brand new to wrestling, you should definitely wrestle for more than one promotion to get your reps in. Is what it is. But if you're a name in a promotion that's like you're a draw and you're an investment, I feel like keeping you on one brand in the same town is best for business.
Yep.
Because it makes your name more valuable.
Yep.
Now, that's when there's big money at play. You know, if we're talking small dollars, it's like work where you can, if you can. Because at the end of the day, it's work.
Yep.
Right? Why stay home when you can get paid?
Yep.
But again, it's all like, work every show you can, yes, but take personal time as well, which is why I go back to why I choose to work where I work. You gotta have a certain like a balance between life and wrestling, or you're burning out. You know what I mean? And
the second part was, do we need more promotions or less promotions in the Maritimes?
Personally, I think we need less. Like, we don't need more. All we do need is our promotions to be able to tour all over the Maritimes, so the fans all around get to experience wrestling live, not just Halifax or Moncton area, or PEI as well, because Mike does that, so
Yeah.
he's all good.
Yeah, he's got his own little thing over
Yeah,
he owns that island.
It's his.
Yeah. Kevin Daniels, what goal does Dynamite have for 2019? What's your main goal this year?
Right now, my goal is to. This is I have a goal is to hopefully get on Impact.
Canadian promotion.
It's what I mean. So like, and everyone's like, "What's your goal?" To get to the Fed? Yes, but this year's goal is to get the Impact or just a bigger stage.
That's awesome.
So Impact or even wrestle overseas if it's gonna happen. So that's my goal for this year.
Awesome. It's a pretty attainable goal, I think, especially now that they're in Ontario.
Yeah.
And his second part of his question: one funny road trip story, please.
Okay, let's see. Funny road trip story. Okay, I got one. Let me see. So this is about me and Max Power. So we used to tour LCW. We stopped one day for gas and food at Irving. So we're getting food, whatever else. We finish eating. And we go up to pay our bills, and as I'm paying my bill, my debit card didn't work. It's taking forever. So I tried again. As I'm putting it in again, Ed takes hand sanitizer, out of my pants, and pumps it down my ass nine times. So I'm sitting there, no sound it, and the card declined again. What the fuck? Like something with the computer. Try again. Okay, put it again. It's starting to burn now. I'm like, oh god. Goes through. Okay, I run out. Go to the bathroom, wipe my pants down, and just clean off. It's 3 hours to the next town. So I'm sitting down 3 hours with hand sanitizer in my crack, and it burns so bad. That was one. Other one too. One more. So. Is in Newfoundland, in Harbour Breton, and I'm set to wrestle Sexton Phoenix, the American Patriot. So we had a long day, and he was lying down on the bench having a nap, and the venue left us a meat tray with a gherkin on it, a little small baby, a dill pickle, whatever it was. He's asleep, so I rubbed the dill on his mouth. He's like, what the fuck? Whatever. So, in our match, we do this spot where he has me in the camel clutch. You jump on 1, 2, third time, the guy turns around, lands nuts, and whatever. So, on the third time, Troy takes the dill out of his boot, small pickle, puts it in my mouth. So I'm like, okay, if I spit it out, the kids are gonna see me spit out a pickle, and it's gonna look weird. So I was like, I have to eat it. So as I'm eating it, I'm chewing it, I do the spot here, and that's nice. I do my comeback. The whole time I'm eating this fucking pickle. The whole time, just eating a pickle. And that was my 2 funny stories I have.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
From Riley Puddester, one thing you miss about wrestling in your hometown?
The one thing I miss about wrestling in my hometown is the roar of the crowd whenever I stepped to the curtain. Whenever they heard that feud, they always just lit up, And, that was something that, I hadn't, that's the one thing I miss is the support that you get immediately.
Mm-hmm.
You're the hometown boy. They believe in you,
And a dream opponent from anywhere in the world?
It's a good one. It's a really good one. Anywhere in the world, eh?
Mm. There's one guy right now you could wrestle. Who would you pick?
Kenny Omega.
You're the first person to pick him.
Really?
I expected everybody to pick him.
Oh, man.
First one.
I was like, yes, Omega, definitely.
Yeah.
Omega. Yeah.
That's who I expected
Yeah.
to pick.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah. Another Canadian boy.
Yeah.
From Derek Harpel, top 3 Maritime Dream opponents, past or present.
Oh.
That's interesting.
Okay. I would love to be a chance to wrestle Emile Dupree.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, just because I feel like he's a huge influence on a lot of the guys here.
Oh,
and a big part of
most of those New Brunswick guys.
Yeah, like a big part of the history here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely. Bobby Roode.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's something like, yeah. That's the one I want to have for a while. I think, what if that would ever happen? You know what I mean? Because,
it's funny, Bobby's not actually from here, but he always gets looped into, because he spends so much time here.
See?
He's from Peterborough, Ontario.
Oh.
But he spends so much time here, we just include him as
He
a maritime
counts,
talent.
right?
Oh, it counts 100%.
Yeah, right. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Third one. Third one. Past or present, eh?
It didn't help the situation when he won the Maritime Cup either.
Yeah. Maybe, like, I'm thinking. Past or present? That's a good question, man. Titus.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's, in my opinion, he's the best from around here by a long shot. He's so talented.
He's one guy that get a chance to.
Yeah, I'd like to see that one too. From Chris Cass, what's the best non-veggie pizza topping?
Best non-veggie pizza topping.
Sabotage got a question about hot dogs.
Of course they do. Jerks.
And pancakes.
And handshakes. The best non-veggie pizza topping. See, he said anchovy. He's Newfoundland. No. I'm gonna say pepperoni's pretty good. Yeah, pepperoni's because it's a go-to.
It is.
It's a safe
good choice.
Yeah.
There's no just anchovy pizza. I mean, there could be, but that's not. But there's all kinds of just pepperoni.
It's all kinds. It's famous.
From Leo DeWolf, what is your best match of 2018 that you have been in? What was your favorite match last year? You had that ladder match. You won the NSPW title. It's a big moment last year.
Yeah.
You had War Games.
Shit. Some cool stuff. I wrestled Tyson Dukes in Moncton.
For UCW, obviously?
Yeah. So, the Dukes is a guy I studied for like a long time.
He's so good. It was ridiculous.
When he was textbook,
Yeah.
I used to watch him on YouTube.
Yeah, I saw him wrestle Mike Hughes in a dark match on Raw from the front row.
Guy with the bleach blonde mohawk. These guys cool as fuck.
Yeah.
So
he didn't look like he was a small guy back then.
It was boom, like, you know. So I remember like seeing his stuff, and then Dan brought him into Newfoundland a couple times, and he was just the coolest, nicest guy ever. Just, super nice, so helpful too. Like, he taught us so much stuff, like basics. You know what I mean? And I remember we had a match in Grand Falls, Windsor, me and him, and I was nervous as fuck. But we get back, and I did so well. He even put me over on the Twitter, and that was huge. I was like, whoa! So, I've been after people for a rematch since then, 2015, and 2017. I had a promotion in the States who was gonna book us, but then didn't work after because the States is.
Well, was that huge show that was supposed to happen in the fall one year? He had like 50 guys booked on it. Was it that one?
No.
Like Mike and Pete and everybody?
No, it was it was that one.
It was that one?
Was it that one? No, that one was global, but then again, the States is like last. We didn't go. We didn't do after. It didn't happen. So shit, last opportunity again, and then that one with the big one, wrestle for a cause or whatever happened, and then that fell through.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever, and then they brought him in for the show Moncton and stuff, and he came down, and Burke said, "Yeah, it's you and him." I said, "No fucking way."
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then came back, and of course we had chatting, and I'm nervous as fuck the whole time because to me it's a big deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, that was it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's the and his second part of his question is, what's the best match you've had in your career so far?
Best match in my career. Best match.
You think about that, and I'll change the battle.
The best match. My favorite match probably was my match with Steve Arsenault in Newfoundland for the heavyweight title.
Okay.
Yeah, because that was a big moment for me too. So there was a tie between that one and the ladder match for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jason James, who makes the best Jigs dinner?
My nan. What kind of question is that? Obvious.
Yeah. Caitlin Murphy, who was your first match with?
My first match was with Jason Burry when I was a ref and got squashed.
Nick Bungay, he lives in this building, doesn't he? Or he did.
Yeah.
He doesn't anymore?
No.
Alright. Cod, the best fish? Question mark.
To me, cod's the only fish sometimes, buddy. No. Cod, the best fish? I like it. It's alright. Give it a kiss. Let me know how it feels.
Gerald Crowther, in your opinion, what is the best thing about indie wrestling and the worst thing? And then he says, keep up the great work and entertainment.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
So the best thing about...
Very pleasant question.
It's awesome, dude. Hey, man. Appreciate it. The best thing about indie wrestling.
And the worst.
The best thing is... The best thing about indie wrestling is you don't know what it could bring you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So whether that be friends who you call brothers, or you can meet someone at a show that can change your life forever. The best thing about indie wrestling is it's an open road to where anything can happen. Right? The worst thing, and I've been part of this too, is the egos and the drama that go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, ego and drama has done more damage than good over the years, and hopefully as we move forward, that stuff gets less and less.
Yeah.
Because it just sucks, man.
It does.
Yeah.
Now these are back to regular questions here. Who's the best wrestler you've ever seen?
Best ever seen? Tyson Dukes. Like, you mean like live, like
Whatever.
wherever?
Yeah.
Oh.
Whatever. You can still say Dukes if you want. Like, when someone asks you who the best wrestler of all time is.
Of all time, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Stone Cold Steve
Oh,
Austin?
fuck yeah.
Oh,
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
you got bumped, Dukes.
Sorry, Dukes. I think, man, like, it was like
I know.
wrestler
Yeah.
I've worked with seen Dukes,
Yeah.
but Stone Cold.
Dukes and Austin. You're still up there.
See?
Where'd it go? What are your thoughts on the support the Maritime Wrestling fans give you and give Maritime Wrestling in general?
I think the fans here in the Maritimes are awesome. Like, unlike any other fans I've worked for, they are passionate, they're excited, they get involved in the shows, and they make you feel like you're like, a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Support Maritime Wrestling. I think there is support. That I feel like, regardless of the brand you work for or your spot on the card, everyone on that show is supported by the fans
Mm-hmm.
every day. I feel.
Who do you think is the best wrestler in the Maritimes right now? Everyone has said the same person.
Really?
Yeah.
The best right now, like Maritimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
In regard, so like, let's see. Based on like resume and what
No,
they're doing
just
right now.
when you go to a show in the Maritimes, who's your favorite guy to watch wrestle? Doesn't have to be like world traveled. It could be someone that like brand new.
I'm gonna say Marcus Burke.
Yeah.
And they're gonna say, he had to say that. You guys, your boy. No.
Everyone else said Dick Durning.
Really?
Yeah.
But isn't he like okay? So
He just stopped, but everyone said it initially,
Yeah.
and then I was just like, okay, you can say him, right?
Not only get Flaxty and Burke. He's Burke boy. Yeah. Fucking. No, but for real, like let's be real for a second. Like, there've been matches I watch with Burke that I get lost in.
Yeah.
When you forget you're a wrestler, you're a fan for a second. Him at Alberto Del Rio.
Yes. No, I would not argue your choice at all. He's fantastic.
Yeah. So yeah, for sure. And again, biased. No, I don't think so. This is my honest opinion. Burke.
Yeah. He's definitely one of the most improved by leaps and bounds. I've known him since he started wrestling.
Really?
In 2005. Yeah. I was there for the very first IHW shows, and he used to wrestle in pleather shorts and a pleather vest.
No way.
Oh yeah. And he was nowhere near as I'm sure he would tell you the same.
Oh yeah.
He was nowhere near as talented as he is now. I haven't asked him this, and I want to do an interview with him sometime soon. Just basically, so I can answer this question: does he wish he would have started doing what he did earlier in his career?
Oh yeah.
As opposed to 4 or 5 years ago or whatever it was.
I guarantee it.
If he would have pushed then, he probably wouldn't be on television right now with the drive he has. But he started, sadly, just a little too late. And he still tried.
Yeah.
But if he would have started earlier, like way back then, what would he have been able to accomplish?
He always says. He always say too. He should have earlier.
Yeah, because he quit wrestling at one point.
Really?
Yeah, late 2000s, 2009, 2010, somewhere around there. He stopped wrestling, and then he came back, and he was just a manager for Spider-Man or Ryan Storm or something. I can't remember exactly.
Way.
But yeah, he was just a valet. He was just a manager for somebody, and then he got back into wrestling.
I had no idea.
And then Wrestle Center started wrestling. This has turned into the Marcus Burke story somehow. But then Wrestle Center started running. Eric asked me who was running Wrestle Center, and I told him, and Jason Mosier, the guy that was running Wrestle Center, didn't know who he was, so I put them in contact with, I still have the original chat, it's pretty funny. I put him in chat with Wrestle Center, but he started like being able to work with guys like Christopher Daniels and Michael Elgin and all those top level guys, and I think that, I could be wrong, but that's when it clicked for him. And that's when he started to skyrocket and he put the rocket on himself and went to the moon with it. I mean, that's where it turned for me.
Yeah.
He might say something different,
yeah.
But that's when I started noticing him change 100% from the guy he used to before. You wouldn't have really, we weren't really around then, so you wouldn't have seen it, right?
Yeah.
That's my take on it. So that's when you say that, I don't disagree. If people say that you just said it just because you're a boy, it's maybe, but he's definitely a choice. It's not like you're just saying random person.
Yeah.
He definitely has the credentials to be the best of the Maritimes. Yeah. I just want to say that so you don't get picked on for picking him, because you probably will.
Oh, I will. You can hear it already.
It's already coming through.
He's kissing ass.
Yeah. Just a couple questions left. The Maritimes, that you weren't around here for very long, but you can include Newfoundland in this too, I guess. But for the Maritimes, essentially, you probably know the history a little bit, like Grand Prix wrestling, real action wrestling, used to draw huge crowds here on a consistent basis. Before there was any type of social media or real internet, I mean, there was like a message board, and everyone had dial-up internet still, so there wasn't finding much online, right?
Yeah.
But in Grand Prix day, there was no internet. There was like no computers. So we're talking like the 60s, right? The 60s and 70s. And they used to fill the Halifax Forum every other, like every Tuesday night or every second Tuesday night or whatever it was. But now, since social media has become a thing, you have so many more avenues for advertising. The shows aren't drawing as good as they were before it. Why do you think that is? You think you'd be drawing more because you could get more people's attention? Like, Real Action drew 1,000, 1,500 people every 2 weeks in Halifax every time they were here. Now you get that once a year, and every other show is like 200, 300, 400, which is still good, but why isn't it more? That was a long question.
I feel like maybe, like, I think it's a few things that, affected, like, maybe over the years, certain shows were ran not up to par and may have burned a town, which in turn burned wrestling. Shows running too many shows, maybe too close together. And I think wrestling changed too since then. Like, it's a different ball game, so to speak, now. You know what I mean?
It's definitely coming back around, though. It could get back there.
Yeah. I just feel like, compared to then, the last couple of years, it's like it's a different game. And now it seems to be getting popular again now. Not only like maritime, but like wrestling as a whole is becoming bigger now.
Yeah.
So let's hope that it's the revival of indie and maritime wrestling again.
Yeah. Let's just see here. Let's make sure there's no more. One last question from me. Is there anyone from Newfoundland right now that you think could come up here and do well?
Yeah.
If you could bring someone up, who would you pick?
Scott Humphreys.
He was up here with Newbury, right?
Yeah. And
why him?
Scott's a workhorse, man. Like, right now, I see him on home last. Scott is setting the bar for expectations on how to act. And it's very easy to lose that sense of etiquette in a locker room where etiquette is different. And it's not a knock on the crew, it was just a different form. But Scott understands wrestling. He trained with Massive and stuff. He's trained, he's good, he's so good.
Yeah. That was the first time I saw him. I thought he was great.
Yeah, and PJ Black watched his match and said you can, like, you'd make it in the WWE, like, training, like, you get it. Regal will love your. He said Regal will love his footwork.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, so that's Scott, awesome. Like, just he's a.
You gotta come up, Scott.
Come on, bud. Right.
And just, we didn't really touch on any other maritime promotions, but what are your thoughts? You can just say a quick word about each, like working for New Breed, ECPW, Wrestle Nova Scotia, which you got injured on. But what are your thoughts on working for the other companies throughout the Maritimes? ACWA.
Yeah, so
the two in New Brunswick.
I find every, like, locker room was different, and every show was run different. So when I say different, I mean some shows were run without order in a sense.
Okay.
There was order, but there was also
chaos.
A little bit of chaos intertwined in that. So, even though it was a payday, sometimes working those shows felt like it did more damage than good. Now, everyone will say, you work every show you can, it's a job, it's a booking. Yes, I understand that, but, if I get in a ring that cuts my back open, I'm going to think twice about going there again.
Yeah.
But
to be fair, they're all, that was Wrestle Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
They're not all like
oh, no.
New Breeds.
New Breeds.
Good, and ECPW. Yeah.
So I think Wrestle Nova Scotia was probably the only, like, bad thing out of it. And Doug tried his best, but it just wasn't good. New Breed is awesome. New Breed is like, we go there and it's like a chance for us to work with guys that we don't normally get to work with. The Answer, Mike, Steve.
It's kind of like everybody comes back together.
Yeah, a little bit.
Right? It's like as someone said, it's like a family barbecue or something in one of the interviews. I can't remember who it was.
ECPW was pretty good. Sheldon was good to me. At first, I didn't know how to read him. He's
cool.
A good dude. Yeah, he's alright. He's cool. Like, very nice guy.
Oh, is there heat there?
Fuck you, we should know. But yeah, I guess the only bad experience I had, I guess was just wrestle Nova Scotia. Right. So, but the rest, like, I have fun at. I find there's no stress at these shows because everyone's. You feel safe. You're in there. You're in there with guys you know can work. You're in safe rings, or the ring that Doug used. So there's no worry at all.
Do you have anything to talk about that we haven't already talked about? Did I miss anything that you wanted to touch on?
I don't think so.
No? Where can people see you wrestle next?
So next, I know there's a VIP show February 2nd. You might see Buddy around there. I don't know. Other than that, I'll be March 1st. I'll be in Riverview. For UCW Madness, which I'll be taking on, I think, a young fella, Cody Blade, for the Marathon title on the line. Or is it March 2nd?
That's Halifax. I don't know which one you're working which, but
anyways,
March 1st is Riverview. March 2nd is Halifax.
Yeah, so one of those shows, you'll see me fighting Cody Youngblood for the Marathon title. One of those shows.
TNA star Brian Cage as well.
Oh yeah, him too. But yeah, so March 1st, Review, March 2nd, Halifax. March 31st, we'll be down in Maine with the Violent Canadian, the Justice for Brawl.
Oh, nice.
Event with Billy Gunn and Nick Aldis.
I think I saw that. Maybe I saw that poster.
March 21st.
Where can people find you online to follow you?
So you can follow me on Facebook, Dynamite Dylan Davis, Instagram, Buddy Wrestles, Twitter, Buddy Wrestles.
Well, I want to thank you very much for taking the time out to do this interview with me. I want to thank your girlfriend as well for putting up with us for like 3 hours. Thank you very much.
God love her.
And thank you very much for taking the time out of your schedule. I know you worked all day and then sat here and did this
for
however long it was.
It's all good, man.
I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.